offense without having that versatile Swiss Army knife, and this is a huge blow for the Panthers, and we won't be seeing them make any noise in NFC South this year.
Our Ryan Clark. The Raiders debut their new stadium in Las Vegas against the Saints tonight, Monday Night Football, 8:15 Eastern, ABC, ESPN TV, and the ESPN.
Did you know that right now, Geico is offering an extra 15% credit on car, motorcycle, and RV policies? That's on top of what Geico could already save you. So what are you waiting for? Visit geico.com to learn more.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Joseph Rodriguez.
I still can't get Joe's up in time.
The Brain.
Hey, the Brain got a poop.
And Mr. Toby Tom Play. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Monday Night Football tonight, y'all. Saints, Raiders from the giant Roomba out in the desert. You'll hear that game on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. We're heading to Vegas in about 15 minutes from right now. Scott Gulbranson covers the Raiders. He's actually the host on Raider Nation Radio. Raider Nation Radio. How do they not screw that up a million times a day? Raider Nation Radio every single day. So who better to talk to on the day that Allegiant Stadium opens up, the Raiders' first game in Las Vegas. The Saints have the honors. They will, as we know, be without Michael Thomas. That was made official over the weekend. Sean Payton, though, did talk about Emmanuel Sanders and the role that he's taking on in that room as a veteran now, and especially in the absence of Michael Thomas tonight on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I think he's, number one, he's experienced, and he's picked up the playbook. We keep looking for ways that uniquely fit his skill set to get him the football. And I would say yes to some. We have some young players on this team that are at the receiver position, and generally speaking, you know, the guys that have been in the league a little bit longer can help those guys out. His transition, being in his first year here, obviously is picking up what we're doing, and he's done that well. So, you know, he is one of those guys that they look up to, and he's got a real good feel for playing the position, and I think that helps when it comes to talking with younger players.
A lot of people have asked who steps up in Michael Thomas's stead. Well, it's obvious. It's Emmanuel Sanders. It's why you went out and got a number 2 receiver. He's the guy. He steps up and becomes your guy. He had 300-yard receiving games a year ago, and another game where he had 98 yards. His best day was 157 yards and a score against New Orleans in the Dome. So I don't worry about that. My bigger question is who's kind of next. But in an offense like this, as diverse as the Saints are, that doesn't really worry me. If it's Jared Cook, if it's Alvin Kamara, maybe it's Deontay Harris, who we finally see emerge in this offense like Sean Payton has been talking about all offseason. They're not longing for options. It's just a matter of who's going to be the hot hand tonight. So we'll start to find out. Saints, Raiders, tonight, Monday Night Football. We'll talk much more about this game throughout the show. And we'll, again, we're going to Vegas in about 10 minutes from right now, and we'll end the show today with our buddy Sean Fazan, who's out in Las Vegas covering the game for Fox 8 in New Orleans. So we'll wrap up today's show with a scene setter and a last-minute preview of what you need to know before we get off the air. All right, it's after further review. It's also game week for LSU. I've said this so many times over the years, if you listen to the show. I love Mondays. I love Mondays in this business because while most people dread getting off of the weekend and going into work, for us on Mondays, you have everything from Friday at 6 o'clock when we go off air to Monday at 3 o'clock when we go on air, and especially when it's a football weekend. And now you have Monday Night Football tonight, and, of course, it's an LSU game week. So congratulate yourself. You've made it through the long winter, so to speak, without football, and it is LSU game week. Week 4 of the college football season, but finally LSU, Mississippi State, Ed Ogeron did have his weekly press luncheon today. Well, let me rephrase that. It's not a weekly press luncheon. It's a weekly press Zoom call, because that's how all press conferences.
That virtual Zoom, bro.
That's how all press conferences are going to be done in this COVID world, but irrelevant because it's football, and that's really all that matters at this point. It's going to be different, as we know, for everybody. A couple of things that are sort of newsy that Ogeron talked about. Brain, can you hit me with number 12 here? First, Ed was asked for an update on Tyler Shelvin, who he alluded to late last week. He had talked to Shelvin's family, but had not spoken to Tyler, and that had left the door open in the minds of some that Shelvin might return.
First of all, Tyler Shelvin, I have not heard from. Everything is quieted down. Obviously, it's Monday of game week, so he hasn't returned. I'm not going to rule it out, but I have not a word. I have not heard a word from his family or from him, so I don't know where that's at.
Now, he also welcomed back a week ago, as we know, Neil Farrell. I'm looking for this from Brain. I don't see it. He updated Neil Farrell's status, being that Neil is. Do you have it? Do you know if you have it? Okay. Anyway, let's make sure we cut that, because I'm going to want it, if not today, certainly this week. Ed updated Neil Farrell's status, saying, look, he's still not doing physical contact right now because there's an acclimation period. Neil had been away for a month, so he's got to have X amount of days of acclimation and conditioning before he can put on pads. So that's where Neil Farrell is. He will be ready for this weekend to be in pads and to play. How much he plays will certainly be interesting. So, okay, all right, that's part of the okay. So Neil Farrell right now is still not participating in full pads, but they expect him to be a go. Here was Ed talking about the defensive tackle rotation. Here's where he mentions Neil Farrell.
Yeah, Neil's earning his way back. Hasn't been in pads yet because of the acclimatization period. Still has some conditioning to do. Obviously, we all know Neil can play. How fast he returns and how fast he works his way up the depth chart is basically up to him. And he's come back with a great attitude and wants to work. If Neil is in shape and he's working, Neil could perhaps be a starter for us. He's that good. But I can see him starting to get some game reps. I don't know if he's going to be ready. I think Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be some big days for him. But I see Glenn Logan, Apu Ika, and Joe Evans rotating the top three guys right there. And then maybe see Sony in there, maybe see Jacqueline Roy in there. So we got some options in there. We got Eric Taylor that can play. So there's a lot of guys that we can put in the game. But I think the top three are the guys that I talked about.
The one guy he didn't mention is Jacobian Guillory, and we didn't really know this. It's 22, Brandon, if you could. Jacobian Guillory, the true freshman out of Ash, Alexandria Senior High, who apparently has been battling an ankle injury, and that's what's limited him right now from being part of that rotation.
Yeah, he had what we call a high ankle sprain during camp, which takes a little while longer to get back. I talked to him today. He has been a little gimpy at practice and been about 60, 70%. I do believe that he's working his way up this week. Is going to be closer to full speed, but it's going to take a little while. And I think in about 2 weeks he's going to be ready to go. Now he is not nowhere in the top three in the depth chart yet because of his injury, but he has shown that he has a promising future here. Both him and Jacqueline Roy and Eric Taylor, those guys are tremendous players, along with our other freshman defensive linemen. So it's going to take a little while for him.
So do not expect to see Guillory this week. Ed said it's going to take a couple of weeks to get him ready. So if it's not this week or next against Vanderbilt, maybe week 3 against Missouri. But that's why you're not hearing Guillory's name. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I really believe that's going to be such a key to this game. With that Mike Leach offense, of course, we know that they're going to sling it around a ton. Can you pressure KJ Costello? And KJ Costello is the grad transfer from Stanford who's coming into Mississippi State now, played 3 years at Stanford, 2017, 18, and 19, and he has battled some injuries, but he's played a lot of football. 2 years ago in 2018, he threw for 3,500 yards and 29 touchdowns. So this is a very experienced guy that Mike Leach is familiar with. This, LSU's defense is going to have to find a way to disrupt the timing of that offense, and the way you do it, obviously, is lockdown coverage or pressuring the quarterback, moving him off the spot. That's why I'll be very interested to see how that defensive front does here from jump in this particular matchup with Mississippi State coming in on Saturday. 2:30, CBS. Of course, you can hear it on our sister station, Eagle 98.1 in the greater Baton Rouge area. All right, y'all, it's after further review. It is Monday Night Football. We are brought to you by Relief Windows. When we come back, we're headed out to the desert. Scott Gulbranson, who hosts daily on Raider Nation Radio, he's going to join us when we come back to give us sort of a preview of Monday Night Football from the other side. The Silver and Black are 1-0 after they beat Carolina in Charlotte last week. How are they shaping up right now? What's the latest on Henry Ruggs, who's been banged up a little bit as well? We'll talk about that with voice of Raider Nation Radio when we come back. It is After Further Review, a Monday Night Football edition. Glad you're here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. Agent225.com, agent225.com. If you're buying or selling, if it's commercial or residential, when you think real estate, think Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. It doesn't matter if it's a $100,000 home or $1 million home. Darren has a way of making all of his clients feel like you're his only client. It's how he gets results. He's got the people and the processes in place to get you the best results. Darren's got programs like the Love It or Leave It program. Buy a home from Darren. If for whatever reason, within a year, you have to move, hate the home, get transferred for work, whatever, he will sell your home for free for his half of the commission. It's Darren James, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. Think real estate, think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I think the guys look forward to having a chance to play on national TV. I'm a morning guy myself. I've always struggled at night games. I remember even when I broadcast, I had a hard time staying awake. It's a long night. You know, you have to adapt to your schedule. It's going to be a short week. You're going to play on Thursday. You're going to play on Monday. You got to be able to adapt, and that's what we have to do.
That is Raiders head coach John Gruden. Used to call games on Monday Night Football. Now will coach a game on Monday Night Football as they open up Allegiant Stadium out in Las Vegas. Scotty Goldbranson is the host of Silver and Black Today on Raider Nation Radio. You can find him on Twitter at LVGully, and you can find him with us right now. Scott, thanks for a couple of minutes, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, Matt. Hello to Baton Rouge, man. I love Baton Rouge. I was down there a long time ago when I worked at UNLV for a baseball regional. Such great people down in Baton Rouge.
You know what, man? You're probably talking about, was it 1996?
It was.
I remember it well. Eddie Furness hit a moonshot over the right field bleachers onto Nicholson. I was at the game. I remember it well. You and I were so close, Scott. Who knew?
Who knew? All these years later.
All these years later, we're brought back around. Hey, do me a favor, man. Set the scene. What's the mood like in Vegas, even though no fans, home opener for the Raiders?
Yeah, you know, the mood is, I would say subdued, but I'll say subdued by Las Vegas standards, because over the weekend we started seeing caravans of Raider Nation from all over the country. And, of course, being on Raider Nation Radio, we get a lot of folks who call in and communicate with us. We had people driving from West Virginia, people driving from Utah, of course, closer by, all the western states, the Bay Area, Los Angeles, and, of course, the Desert Southwest and even Texas, driving into town because they just want to be in the vicinity as this thing happens. Clearly, had COVID-19 not occurred and this not all been shut down, this place would be absolutely bananas. But the atmosphere here is very party-like, lots of folks coming into town wanting to be part of history, the NFL's first game in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I have a buddy that lives and works in Las Vegas, and he's explained to me something I think is probably lost on many people. Like, for example, when the Knights went to Las Vegas, how much of a love affair there already is, because so many people look at Vegas as a tourist city, which it is, but there's tons of people that live in Las Vegas, and that was something for them to call their own. You can explain this better than I, but what has that relationship been like early with the Raiders and the city?
You know, I think that if you think about this, too, it's sort of like, to use an analogy back from when I was single, you know, you have a girlfriend, and you imagine telling her, hey, I'm going to break up with you, and I'm going to sleep on your couch for the next 3 years, and then I'm going to go date this other girl over there. I think that's what it was. So Las Vegas took a little while to warm up to the Raiders because of that, because we knew back in 2016 this whole odyssey started with the funding from the state and the public dollars in Clark County. Then March 2017, they get approval to move here, and then November they break ground on the stadium. So the Raider fans, because Las Vegas is a true melting pot, people come from all over. What happened was, I think a lot of people had their existing teams and they weren't sure. They didn't really like the Raiders. But just like the Golden Knights, when the Raiders' move was imminent, when this all happened and their headquarters opened and they were practicing here, and you started to see merchandise and you started to see the logo on Coke cans and beer cans, people, including my neighbor, who's a lifelong Seattle Seahawks fan, said to me, he said, hey, listen, I'll always be a Seahawks fan first, but since the Raiders are our hometown team, I'm going to root for them too. So I think that love affair has started. It is in high gear now. You go into any store, any place in Las Vegas, you see Raider paraphernalia everywhere, and so it's just really caught on, especially as football season kicked off.
I promise we're going to talk about the game here in a second. It's just there's so many ancillary angles to this game that make it fascinating. The venue part of it as well with Allegiant Stadium, it looks gorgeous. Have you been in yet? What can you tell us about the facility and some of the features that people will notice either watching the game or that are going to be discussed?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I've been in several times, and then as it was under construction, I am a novice drone pilot, and so I got permission to fly over as they were building it. So I've kind of seen it go through all its different phases, and it is spectacular. I mean, you've seen SoFi Stadium, obviously gotten a lot of national pub with the games the last few weekends, and that's a different animal. That's a $5 billion stadium. This is just a lowly $2 billion stadium. But inside, it's absolutely gorgeous with all the amenities you could possibly want. The outside, of course, starting with the exterior with the black glass with the lighted ribbons, the fans early on started calling the Death Star, and Mark Davis, the owner, adopted that name, made it sort of official. No word from the Disney folks and your parent folks at ESPN if they're going to sue the Raiders over that. But nonetheless, they've said that, and it really is an amazing place. You go inside, it's got all of the Raider history that you would expect as one of the most glorious franchises in sports history, with all Hall of Fame numbers, jerseys, those types of things all over. But then it's also got the Vegas touch. It has original artwork of people like Frank Sinatra and Elvis and other Wayne Newton, you name it, and all the old hotels that used to adorn the Las Vegas Strip. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got the Raider mystique, it's got the black, it's got the silver, it's got the history, but it's also got that little bit of Vegas flair. And perhaps the most incredible thing about the stadium is the north doors, the lanai doors. These are doors, because it is a closed dome, the north doors open. So when you open those doors, and I'm not sure if they're opening them tonight since it's 100 degrees today, but when you open those doors, it has a clear view of the Las Vegas Strip, and it's also got the big Al Davis torch out there, which is a permanent part of the stadium as well. So it really is spectacular. I think when your folks down there watch the game tonight, they'll be really impressed with what they see.
Scott Gulbranson, a measly $2 billion, right? Scott Gulbranson's our guest. He's on Twitter at LV Gully, the host of Silver and Black today on Raider Nation Radio. All right, let's talk about the game itself, right? Let's get to the thing that people are actually certainly going to be tuned in once they tee it up and kick it off. The Raiders got to win week 1 out in Carolina, and they were very balanced on offense, which stood out to me. Is that the expectation again tonight? I mean, they were almost 50-50. I think it was 30 passes, 31 runs.
Yes, I think they will be. The difference here, though, Matt, is the fact that they're facing a much better defense with the New Orleans Saints. So you look at that defense they faced in Carolina last week, you're talking about a defense started 4 rookies on that starting line. And so to go up against the Saints defense with all of the experience and all of the talent, it's going to be a very, very big test for the Las Vegas Raiders and Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, and all those guys, because they're going to have to do a little more. I think they're going to have to be more creative. John Gruden's going to have to open up that playbook a little more. And, of course, he's going against one of the best coaches in the NFL, and that in New Orleans. So it's one of those situations where I think if you see the Raiders coming out, yes, they're always going to be a balanced team because John Gruden loves the old school West Coast football, which starts with the run. So you're going to see a huge amount of Josh Jacobs, and then you'll see a lot of tight ends, just like the Saints do as well with Jared Cook, the former Raider. You're going to see Darren Waller. You're going to see Jason Witten. You're going to see, of course, LSU product Foster Moreau as well. So there's going to be a lot, I think, of balance there. And then the question will be, can they match up well enough against that Saints veteran and very talented defense?
What's really interesting, Scott, I don't know if you're aware, but the Saints have not allowed a 100-yard rusher since the middle of 2017, which is just, it's a bonker stat. So why could Josh Jacobs and the Raiders offense be the team to finally break that streak?
Well, it's a good question. I think, first of all, it starts up front, and there's a big question mark up front for the Raiders on the offensive line. Will Trent Brown, one of the highest-paid offensive linemen in the NFL, play tonight? He's been injured. There's been grumblings from inside the organization that they're not happy, that they feel like he can play, that the injury, he might be injured but not hurt, so to speak. And so if that offensive line up front, which is one of the better in the NFL, can really dominate the line of scrimmage, which will be tough, then you might see Josh Jacobs go over 100 yards, but he's going to get the ball 20, 25 times, Matt. So we'll see if he can eke that out and whether or not playing in their new home for the first time in Nevada, they're able to establish some sort of semblance of controlling that line of scrimmage.
Forgive me for not knowing. Is Henry Ruggs going to play tonight?
Good question. He's been listed as questionable. He only practiced one day this week, and so it's unknown. I would expect him to play. There's been no indication that the injury is that bad that he would not, and certainly the Raiders' offense is much, much different with him in there, as we saw last week, because even if he's on the field as a decoy, he takes up some space and he takes up some attention.
Okay. A couple more for you. Scott Gulbranson is with us, host of Silver and Black today, Raider Nation Radio. Let's flip it to the other side of the ball. The Bucs did a pretty good job against the Saints offense. I mean, the Saints still put up 30 points in the game, but 11 tackles for loss. They had a sack. How does that Raiders front match up against New Orleans?
Well, that's the big question mark. The Raiders' pass rush was almost non-existent. Actually, it was non-existent against Carolina Panthers. And so the Raiders are going to have to do a much better job up front. They added Malik Collins from the Cowboys on the interior. They have Mo Hurst, of course, third-year player out of Michigan. And on the ends, one of the kind of stars of last year was Max Crosby, the fourth-round draft pick out of Eastern Michigan, who had a great year with 10 sacks last year. They're going to have to put some pressure on Drew Brees, and that's tough, as you know. I don't need to tell you, because Drew Brees can get the ball. It doesn't matter what age he's at or what skills have declined. He's still very good, and if you allow him time, he's going to pick you apart. So the Raiders do that. Now, the Raiders have gotten much faster and better on defense when it comes to the middle and the back end. You look at linebacker, they signed Corey Littleton off the Rams this last offseason. He is a sideline-to-sideline guy. They will be without Nick Kwiatkowski, who they signed from the Bears. So Raekwon McMillan, who they acquired in a trade with the Dolphins, will have to fill in there, as well as Nicholas Morrow. So we'll see how they do there. And then on the back end, you have a lot of youth. You have, of course, Jonathan Abram, who people are raving about at safety. He's one of those guys, Trayvon Mullen over at one corner, and then a rookie, Damon Arnett, out of Ohio State. So if those guys, they're going to get their first big test today against a future Hall of Famer. And if the Raiders can do that, if they can put some pressure on Breeze and create some opportunities and get them out of sync a little bit, then the Raiders will have a good shot.
Last thing, Scott, what do you think the key, from a Raiders standpoint, the key to the game is tonight?
I think the key to the game really is going to be on that defense. Can the young defensive backs hold up against that test against Drew Brees, and can the Raiders put some pressure up front against Brees and the Saints? If they can't do that, then they could be in for a long night.
Follow him on Twitter at LVGully, Gully, at LVGully. Scott Gulbranson, host of Silver and Black Today on Raider Nation Radio. Scott, I don't know how y'all say Raider Nation Radio over and over again. I was like the alliteration. I stumbled on it 4 times in the opening segment.
It's a lot of R's, my friend.
It is a lot of R's. Enjoy tonight. I'm sure it's going to be a great night for the city and for the franchise as a whole. I hope you all don't win, but I hope you enjoy the evening nonetheless.
Matt, I appreciate it anytime, and my best to everybody in Louisiana.
Cool. Thank you, Scott. We appreciate it, man. That is Scott Gulbranson, again, host of Silver and Black Today on Raider Nation Radio. That's actually, Raider Nation Radio is on the ESPN affiliate in Las Vegas. So great perspective. And it is so interesting to me because I mentioned this with Scott. We think about Vegas, and we think about the Strip, and we think about shows and casinos and the Las Vegas Lights and the MGM Grand, and we think about boxing events and UFC events, and that's just all of our perception of Vegas. But there's so many, the hundreds of thousands, million people that live in Las Vegas who are all locals have never really had anything that was theirs until they got the Golden Knights. And I was in Las Vegas last summer, and it was incredible because everywhere you went, Golden Knights car flags, Golden Knight bumper stickers, license plate, like everything was Golden Knights, everything. And it makes sense. I mean, all the people who are Las Vegas locals finally had something that was their own. And I'm going to be very interested to see if the Raiders take hold as well. It seems like they clearly have. It's disappointing that there won't be any fans all season in Allegiant Stadium. That'll have to wait until next year. For the Saints' perspective, tonight I'm thrilled that there aren't going to be any fans. I want it to be as sterile an atmosphere as possible because the better team's going to win, and that's New Orleans. They're going to win the game tonight. But this is a fascinating experiment to see pro sports continue to expand into Las Vegas and to see how this works. So Saints, Raiders, Monday Night Football. Tonight we'll keep previewing the game. And as we mentioned, to wrap the show, our buddy Sean Fazan from Fox 8, he'll be with us in Hour 3 as we're putting a button on as close as we can to kick off for any for scene setter, last-minute tidbits that you'll need to know before the Saints and the Raiders kick it off on Monday Night Football. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back and go around the SEC. Still got to delve tons into this matchup, Saints-Raiders, and a lot of what Ed Ogeron had to say today, meeting with the media, previewing LSU's season opener Saturday against Mississippi State. Stick around with us here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Want a better experience with a contractor? Have you had the horror story experience or have a family or relative that has? You'll never have to worry about that when you call Premier South Roofing. I mean, they've literally won ethics awards. A roofing company that's won business ethics awards. They won the Torch Award for Ethics in Business from the Better Business Bureau. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Super Service Award from Angie's List. I mean, we've had storms come into our area here of late, and there are always opportunistic companies and contractors that just come into the area to try to take business. earn business, whatever the case may be. But you never know the quality of work you're going to get. You never know if those people are going to stand by their work. What if there's an issue in 6 months and they're gone forever? You never have to worry about that when you hire Premier South Roofing. They're here before the storm. They'll be here long after. Premier South Roofing and PremierSouthLA.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, North Shore, and online at PremierSouthLA.com.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who, without being asked, shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community? We believe that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust.
So, if you know someone that sounds like what Jordy was just describing, nominate them to be your good citizen, and they'll have a chance to win $500 from Citizens Bank and Trust. Plus, we'll mention him right here on the show. So go to citizensbankandtrust.com for more details and nominate your good citizen.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank invite you to nominate someone for a Good Citizen Award. They can receive $500 from Citizens Bank, and we'll recognize them live on air. Get all the details at citizensbankandtrust.com and nominate your good citizen.
And Citizens Bank will be one of our presenting sponsors for Whiskey and Wine on Saturday. LSU, Mississippi State. 2:30 kick as soon as the game goes final. Jordy Collada and yours truly, we will be live on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel and Facebook page. As soon as the game ends, we will be live at Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. So waiting to see if you're going to be able to join us. We're not really sure based on what COVID restrictions are going to be in place. It might just be that for week one, it's just going to be me and Jordy in an empty bar. But I'm telling you what, it's going to look awesome. We did a site visit on Friday. I mean, if you've never been inside a Don Juan Cigar Bar, it's gorgeous. It's in Town Center. Of course, they've got Don Juan Cigar Company, the retail shop, and the bar right next to each other. So you can still go into the retail shop. You can still go buy your cigars. have a brand new Macanudo that they just got in last week that went on Friday and picked up a couple, smoked one Saturday while watching some college football. It's a great spot. If you need to up your stash or have something to celebrate a victory cigar on Saturday, get by Don Juan Cigar Company and Don Juan Cigar Bar, host of Whiskey and Wine all season long. As soon as the clock hits 0 for every LSU game, fire up the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube or Facebook page, and we will be live there for 90 minutes after the game. Yes, drinking and smoking cigars and talking about the game and on the internet, so you know what that means. There are no rules on the internet. And we test those boundaries every week. And it's a lot of fun. So hopefully you'll join us. All right. UMass is going to play football. They're all coming back. All of them. Like Big Ten, Pac-12, the MAC, the Mountain West. They're all everywhere. They're all the sheep are following. They're all the lemmings. They're coming right back in line. Now it's UMass. I'm not as mad, though, at UMass because I understood to a large degree why some of the smaller programs did it. Because it was a financial losing proposition. It didn't make financial sense to play a season if you couldn't have fans or your guarantee games. You were essentially spending money to have a season that would normally you count on for funding, and you're ultimately going to lose money. In a year where you're already down, why put a product on the field that's going to lose money? But one of the really interesting things, and this is where it goes to show what good leadership can bring, right? If you heard this a couple of weeks ago, Hester and Hanny on their show. For those outside of Baton Rouge, don't know, Jacob Hester, Charles Hannegriff host a show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge before we come on. And they interviewed the athletic director at Central Arkansas. It was a great interview. I'd highly recommend anybody go back and listen to it. It was a really interesting angle. And this athletic director from Central Arkansas basically laid out how they were able to make this work financially, putting together their schedule. And they're not making as much money as they would have otherwise, but this athletic director was very opportunistic and pieced together games where he had, $250K, $400K as far as the payout to play these games. And as they pieced it together, they made it work financially to where they ended up in the black and they could have a season and all the COVID protocols in place, and they made it work. But it goes back to what we talked about and what I yelled about last week. It was having leaders who are willing to lead, who are willing to get uncomfortable to find a way to make it work. And many have done that, while some decided, it's going to be too hard, and they backed out. And they pointed the finger and laughed at people who were continuing and called them names. So last week was my chance to call everybody else names. But this was the thing. To their credit, UMass in the school statement said they've got a positive view of safety protocols. So since student athletes have come back to campus, they've administered 1,800 COVID-19 tests in 13 weeks with 2 positive results. So they're showing that their protocols are working, 1. And 2, in their statement, they referenced other conferences returning to play in the fall. Basically said, well, other people are returning, so we're going to do it too. They're admitting that they're just sheep, but that's okay. At least you can acknowledge you're a sheep. The worst is when you're a sheep, but you purport to be a lion, which you're not. Pac-12. Big Ten. But they're all coming back. There is a way. Most of them just didn't want to pursue it. And now they're all coming back. Better be careful. I'm going to start singing Celine Dion. Especially because that NFL return to football commercials in my head. You've seen that, right? The return to football commercial. They're saying they're all coming back. It's all coming back to me now, Celine Dion. I'll spare you for now. It's After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows. Do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Texas A&M Aggies.
Another opt-out, this time linebacker Anthony Hines, the second key A&M starter to opt out of the season. He joins junior wideout Jamin Osborne. Hines was the second leading tackler on A&M's team a year ago. So the only the only player with starting experience to replace Hines is Aaron Hansford, who's made just 2 career starts. Hines is the 5th A&M player to opt out for the 2020 season. So all the LSU fans who said, why are only LSU players opting out? It's not only LSU players opting out.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Kirk Kirby Smart, he's kept his quarterback decision close to the vest, and he'll continue to do so. Two front runners. I got JT Daniels and Dwan Mathis. Daniels, though, not yet cleared to play after an ACL injury ended his season last year at USC. But Kirby Smart did say they hope to have JT cleared officially by Saturday. Mathis, redshirt freshman, you might remember, had brain surgery in May of 2019. So it's between those two guys, with Jamie Newman having opted out.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Joey Gatewood, former Auburn quarterback who transferred to Kentucky last December. Mark Stoops said staff's still waiting to hear from the SEC office if Gatewood is going to be eligible this season. As of Monday, still no word. Stoops also shot down the rumored gentleman's agreement between Kentucky and Auburn. There was a report from Rivals which basically said that Kentucky agreed not to play Gatewood in the opener against Auburn if Auburn cooperated with the transfer waiver. Stoops has shot that down publicly, however. So in the first Kentucky depth chart, freshman Bo Allen is listed as the number 2 quarterback behind Terry Wilson.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
4-star JUCO transfer Ronald Williams. He broke his arm during practice last week, so he's going to miss at the very least the season opener Saturday against Missouri. That means Jalen Armour Davis, now the team's top backup behind Patrick Surtain. Marcus Banks, who you might remember one time was an LSU commit, and Brandon Turnage, their co-backups behind Josh Jobe at the other cornerback spot.
The Missouri Tigers.
Drop my paper. I got it. Hey, happy football week, Missouri. You get to play Alabama. And you're a 28-point underdog. Whew. This is just the 5th time in their history that Missouri is a home underdog by 20 points or more. You might be wondering, Matt, when's the last time Missouri was a home underdog by 20 points or more? Go!
Hey, Matt, when was the last time Missouri was a home underdog by 20 points or
I'm
more?
not in the mood. I was perfect until that last one, and it rimmed out. It just sucks. I was hoping for a perfect day. I'm not mad at you. I'm just projecting. That's all. I was perfect. I was
Well, it
nailing
started
them.
with the drop.
I know. It kind of threw me off, didn't it? Yeah. Well, thank you for asking, Brain. The last time was actually against Alabama in 2012. Alabama was a 21-point favorite. You know how that one ended up?
How'd that play out?
42-10. There you have it. That is around the SEC. Presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. They're online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. You need your business to run more efficiently. You need Gulf Coast Office Products. If it's copiers, scanners, all-in-ones, all the office equipment you need, they've got it. They can service it better than anyone, and they give you better customer service than anyone at Gulf Coast Office Products. With offices in Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, and the North Shore, Gulf Coast Office Products. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Yeah, and then I just completely fell off on the last one. Did you see the last one? I think it went straight under that chair.
I didn't even see it.
I think it went straight to that chair.
I'm not even going to ask how.
Well, it's like a golfer. It's like a golfer who, when you start to unravel, you face that adversity, and then you shoot an 18 on number 12. Like, that's what just happened to me. I just threw it right in the ground.
You want to crumple something else up and shake out of it?
No.
Okay.
I just want to move on because we got to talk about what happened in Week 3 in college football. That's coming up. Also going to preview Saints Raiders from every angle throughout the day. You know what I'm interested? We'll talk about in about 16 minutes. Cesar Ruiz, Zach Bond, very likely going to make their Saints debuts tonight on Monday Night Football. I'm very interested to talk about what I think their roles might be. That's coming up 15 minutes from right now. Meantime, we'll knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Prime time. He's in the game, man. We'll talk about Deion Sanders taking over Jackson State and some observations from Week 3 in college football. That's next. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
You still haven't done it yet, have you? You still haven't done it yet, have you? All these years, all the different people that I've told you about that have saved money, gotten better coverage for less money from Insurance Network of Louisiana. All the people I've told you about throughout the years, all of them, and you still have not called Insurance Network of Louisiana. You could be potentially like Peter, AFR listener, had been with Liberty Mutual. Shocker. 4 drivers on their auto policy, 2 of his kids, 1 in high school, 1 in college. They saved $4,000 annually on their coverage. 4 G's. If you got your kids on your auto insurance and you haven't called Insurance Network of Louisiana, what are you doing? 293-0450, 293-0450. Let them shop independently to see if they can get you better coverage for less money. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Cordell Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a Tundra for $7,000 off MSRP. That's right, $7,000 off MSRP. And we have plenty in stock. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Cordell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
This is a house call. This is a test result. This is a prescription refill. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare. Start your virtual visit today at Auctioner Health.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Well, the reason why I would recommend him because he's trustworthy. I mean, attention and love and respect of who you are, what you are, and the purpose why you came, he honors that. Once you're with Murphy, Here you go. All right.
One, top speed.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wrapping up hour number 1, brought to you by Relief Windows. Windows, door siding, reliefwindows.com. It is official. Deion Sanders has been introduced as the new head coach at Jackson State. He immediately makes the SWAC infinitely more interesting. What are the chances that we think this works?
It already has. Oh, you mean on the field?
On the field.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe 30%, maybe.
So he replaces John Hendrick, who full disclosure, I did not know who the coach was at Jackson State before Deion. John Hendrick was 6-9 overall, 5-5 in the SWAC East. Jackson State's most recent winning season came in 2013. So it's been lean there in Jackson for a while. Brain, the point that he was making was it's worked because everybody's talking about it. No doubt. I mean, the amount of attention that Jackson State football is going to get because you have Deion Sanders as your head coach is incredible. But Deion Sanders has also never been a head coach. He was a high school offensive coordinator at Trinity Christian School in Cedar Hill, Texas. That's a Houston suburb. So Deion's going to finish out this season before beginning preparations for Jackson State's season. See, my thought immediately is, what are you doing? Like, you need to recruit. You need to put protocols in place. Are you going to have a spring season? There's an incredible amount of work to be done, but Deion's going to hang out and be a high school OC for the rest of the fall. Each their own, whatever. But here's what Deion said when he was introduced. This was on the first episode of 21st and Prime. He's the 21st head coach at Jackson State. He's being asked to be called Coach Prime. But on the first episode of 21st and Prime, he said why he took the job.
It's a match made in heaven. This is a God move. When they pulled up today, I said, for me to leave this, it has to be God.
That's right.
And Jamie, a lot of people going to say why. But honestly, man, I've been offered pro jobs, so people know. Mm-hmm. I could be an assistant in any college, and head coach at any college, but such a time as this, God called me to Jackson State. That's right. And me to these men.
Or maybe it was athletic director Ashley Robinson. I'm not discounting divine intervention or someone feeling a pull, a spiritual pull to a certain place. I do wonder, though, about he said, what he said there is he could have taken any college or NFL job. He said he had NFL head coaching jobs there that he mentioned, major college head coaching job offers. That's a little hard to believe. I would like to see if that were in fact the case, because if so, it's nonsensical to take this job at a very bad program with very limited resources. But he will immediately make them more interesting. People are talking about Jackson State football today when many, I'm sure, didn't in the country. In the Southeast, especially here in Baton Rouge, where you have one of the greatest HBCUs ever with Southern and the most successful. We're familiar with Jackson State because Southern and Jackson played so many times. But outside of this region, tons of people don't even know what Jackson State is. They do now. A couple of other observations from the weekend. Really disappointing day for Tulane, which led 24-0 over Navy, only to give up 27 unanswered, including a walk-off field goal. In the American, Central Florida beat Georgia Tech. But Georgia Tech hung tough. Jeff Collins did a good job at Temple for a couple of years, took the Georgia Tech job, and last year was a struggle. When you're transitioning from Paul Johnson's triple option offense to something modern, there was going to be bumps in the road. But Jeff Collins, week 1, goes and beats Florida State. Last week, they were in. They lost to Central Florida by 28. That's completely misleading. They had tons of turnovers late in the fourth quarter that led to quick scores and a lopsided result. But they were in that game into the fourth quarter. You were talking about a one-score game into the fourth quarter. So they're coming along, interestingly enough. I still don't think there's anybody in the ACC that could challenge Clemson. A lot of people are going to look at both Miami and Notre Dame, which had landslide wins. Miami blew out Louisville on the road, which was impressive. I'm just not sure Louisville's great. And Notre Dame struggled against Duke a week ago and then blew the doors off of South Florida this week. When I watch Notre Dame, I don't see enough athletes to be a legit contender to Clemson. I think Notre Dame's a very good team, and I think they'll beat anybody else potentially in that ACC. They're just not – they don't have enough athletes on the field to be able to go man-to-man with a team like Clemson. So just a few observations from week 3 in college football. The Big 12 almost took it on the chin again this week with Oklahoma State, but they managed to survive a scare from Tulsa. But nonetheless, the big boys get back at action this week with the SEC starting play on Saturday, and we're all pretty excited about that. Week 4 of college football will be the first week of the SEC, and we're talking plenty about it As a matter of fact, we'll get back talking about what Ed Ogeron had to say at his weekly press luncheon coming up in about 20 minutes from right now. Right after SportsCenter, though, Cesar Ruiz, Zach Bond, likely to make their Saints debuts tonight on Monday Night Football. I want to talk about what the expectation should be for each. That's coming up right after SportsCenter on AFR.
AFR.
Take 60 seconds and remind you about our friends over at GMFS Mortgage, because a call to a local loan officer at GMFS Mortgage could save you thousands of dollars a year. GMFSmortgage.com is where you can log on. They've got offices all over the state of Louisiana. So log on and find the local loan officer nearest you, GMFSmortgage.com, and ask about refinancing your mortgage. If you know your rate is above a 4, you got to call GMFS Mortgage. If it's been so long since you've looked at your interest rate when you bought your home, you're not even sure what you have, chances are you're above a 4 and you need to call GMFS Mortgage. The Fed has lowered interest rates to historic lows, literally never been lower than they are right now. Let GMFS Mortgage see if they can refinance your mortgage, save you money every month on your mortgage payments. Maybe even skip a payment while they go through the process of closing that refinance. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage. Change it.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Peyton was awesome the whole time, like so friendly, very quick to just come up, like let me know if there's anything you need, and just really make you feel like you're taken care of and you're kind of part of their little law family.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. This just in, 49ers running back Tevin Coleman expected to miss multiple weeks with a knee injury. The team is hoping quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo can play this week despite the high ankle sprain. Running back Raheem Mostert won't likely play. The team had no update on the MRI for defensive lineman Nick Bosa's injured knee. Giants had confirmed star running back Saquon Barkley has a torn ACL. He'll be out the rest of the season. The loss of Barkley certainly impacting the development of Giants quarterback Daniel Jones, explains ESPN's Dan Orlovsky.
Now teams can just completely play coverage and dare Daniel Jones and the Giants to try to be patient enough with a backup running back and a not good blocking offensive line. And so now your quarterback is kind of going to have to play the rest of the season with one hand tied behind his back.
Dan Orlovsky on Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Former Falcons running back Devontae Freeman will visit the Giants tomorrow. Broncos receiver Cortland Sutton has a torn ACL. His season's over. Denver QB Drew Lock, rotator cuff strain out 3 to 5 weeks. Vikings linebacker Anthony Barr heading to IR with a torn pec. His season's likely over.
Brought to you by Cooper Tires. Go with great tires that do what tires should do and cost what tires should cost. Go with the Coopers.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Joseph Rodriguez.
Hey, Joe, what you doing?
The Brain.
Hey, the brain got a poop.
And Mr. Toby Tom Play. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Someone asked where they could find Toby Tomplay's music. Check out iTunes. Tomplay. Toby Tomplay on iTunes. You can find their stuff. He actually did a cover of, you know what he did? He did a cover of the Grease song, You're the One That I Want, but he did like a slow groove cover. I know, it's weird, but it's so cool. Check it out. Tomplay. Appreciate Toby for doing the AFR theme. Monday Night Football, Saints, the Raiders. It's not going to go well for the Raiders tonight. Saints are a far better team, sterile environment. I'll give you a full pick on the game a bit later. But one thing that I am very interested in seeing tonight is Cesar Ruiz, the Saints' first-round draft pick, rookie first-round draft pick, and Zach Bond. The Saints only played 2 rookies a week ago. Adam Troutman, the rookie tight end, Troutman only played like 7 snaps. Let me make sure I had it down right. Troutman played 7 snaps on offense, 9 on special teams. And then Malcolm Roach, of course, got the start on the defensive line, wearing 97. Really played well, too, on the interior. Had a tackle for loss early in the ballgame. He played 23 defensive snaps. Sean Payton, though, when he met with the media on Saturday, explained why Zach Bond, this is one, Brian, why Zach Bond was inactive week 1.
He's going to be up in this game, and a lot of it had to do with just a decision in regards to the kicking game. He's doing well. He's healthy. He's had a good week of work. We'll see him a lot in special teams. No specific reason.
So Bond had the reason for the question. Bond had a bit of a hamstring tweak, and so there was a question: was he being held out for that? And Peyton kind of alluded to it there. No, it wasn't that. It was more of a special teams reason with the matchup against Tampa, where you didn't feel like you were going to have 3 linebackers really on the field at any given point, which, I mean, against that offense, you weren't. This might be different tonight. Part of the reason I'm very interested in seeing Bond in his role tonight is, we think of Zach Bond as a pass rusher because of the role that he played at Wisconsin. And a year ago, he had 12.5 sacks, 19.5 tackles for loss. I mean, he was stellar as a pass rusher a year ago for Wisconsin. I mean, that was sort of how he made his name. He was a consensus All-American, and the Saints took him in round 3. And many thought he could be a first-round draft pick, but he had the dilute sample at the combine, and then ultimately you see Zach Bond drop in around 3, and the Saints steal him. But we think of him as a pass rusher, and he's kind of that mold, right? He's kind of that tweener mold. You hate to draw this comparison, but some have compared him like to Haoli Kikaha, who the Saints used a second-round pick on years ago, who was injury-prone and never really popped. But the thing about Zach Bond as well is he wasn't just an edge rusher. Yes, he was very disruptive in that Wisconsin defense, but he also had 76 tackles. And he was a guy that could thump in between the tackles and make plays. So when I look at this game tonight, a week ago in week 1, the Raiders went out to Carolina and they were almost dead even balanced. 30 passes, 31 rushes in that game against Carolina. So if you're New Orleans and you're thinking this is a game where you might actually need 3 linebackers on the field at once, if you're trying to stop Josh Jacobs in that running game, Bond could be a guy who figures in more. It's likely more of his role tonight is in special teams, but we could see him more in that role on the field and 3 linebacker looks. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not privy to Dennis Allen's game plan and what he's going to do, but if there was a team where it looked like it could make sense for a night where you're going to have 3 linebackers on the field, this could be that night. So I'm interested to see if that's Bond, how he might play tonight, how he'll fare against the Raiders in this ball game out in L.A. The other one, of course, is Cesar Ruiz. And you all know the story here. Cesar Ruiz, the Saints' first-round draft pick, and a lot of people are very excited about Ruiz and his potential. Anytime you take any first-round pick, there's always going to be a degree of excitement. I mean, regardless of position. Certainly it's different when it's a Joe Burrow. It's at a position like quarterback or premium offensive position like Clyde, maybe on the offensive side of the ball at running back. But it's really about need. And when I look at what happened last week in that game against Tampa, and the fact that the Saints allowed 11 tackles for loss and a sack, it's concerning because the interior of the Saints defense has been the core of the great Saints teams. And we know this, we've been over this so many times. It was Goodwin at center with Jari Evans and Carl Nix at guard. There was a time where you had both all-pro guards in the NFL were on your interior. And we know that's how they've tried to build. It's why they traded Jimmy Graham for Max Unger. It's why they drafted Eric McCoy. It's why they drafted Ruiz. Like, we know that's where they've put their emphasis. And to have the type of performance they did a week ago was concerning. Now, we say it often here, winning masks deficiencies often. And maybe this is one of those instances where the Saints score 34 points and they win by double digits at home against Tampa, and it masks some of those deficiencies. But 11 tackles for loss is alarming. And that offensive line has got to play better. And I'm not putting it all on Nick Easton. I certainly don't think that's the case. But I definitely want to see that unit have a better performance, especially against a Raiders defense, which last week went to Carolina and had no semblance of a pass rush. 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss in that whole game. You're talking about a game with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback and Christian McCaffrey, a team that's going to run the ball a good bit. The Raiders' front was non-existent. This should be a get-right matchup for the Saints' offensive line. So I want to see Cesar Ruiz in there. He battled the ankle injury, and apparently he's good. He had been limited at times in the week, but he's a go, and it's likely to be assumed here that Cesar Ruiz is going to be starting at right guard for New Orleans tonight in Las Vegas against the Raiders. So, look, man, Ruiz tonight is interesting. Another factor that I'm very grateful for with Ruiz making his first start is there's not going to be noise. Making calls on the interior of that lineup, so he's not going to be doing that at right guard, but just to make sure you have your assignments and you're sound technically and with all of your assignments, that matters a lot. And if you're on the road for your first start in a brand new building, new team playing for the first time in their new venue, in their new hometown, that there are variables there that would be negatives for Ruiz making his first start. And those are eliminated. So this is a pretty good circumstance for New Orleans. To start a guy like Ruiz, You're going into a sterile environment on the road in Las Vegas. Here's a great opportunity for the Saints to get some of these young guys their first action. So Ruiz, Bond, expect both to make their debuts tonight, Monday Night Football against the Raiders. All right, after further review, glad you're hanging out with us here. If you want to join us, you can tweet the show at Matt Moscona or at 1045 ESPN. You could jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat on the 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. You can watch us there anytime for free. You can watch us, of course, on CST as well. One other thing that Sean Payton did mention was there was apparently a COVID outbreak at a Vegas hotel. And so Payton was asked, play 5, Brandon. He was asked about the possibility of changing hotels last minute because of this outbreak.
Yeah, look, I read the same article, Catherine, and I think that hopefully with what we're doing, this is the only game on the road that we're playing at a hotel that's occupied with other guests. Then the remaining 7 are all buyouts where it's just our team. So that being said, there'll be a whole wing where we're just basically quarantined in and really going into more of a hard bubble. But that's a good question.
It's also sort of going to be, I would assume, the norm when you're on the road is protecting yourself from those types of variables, and the Saints are doing it. And clearly, Mrs. Benson has been willing to do that, not only on the road but at home, all throughout camp, where Saints players were offered the opportunity to move in essentially to a hotel where they could sort of quarantine themselves. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're with us. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows, Windows Door Siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. Let's go from the black and gold to the purple and gold when we come back. Ed Ogeron met with the media earlier today. We'll let you hear some of what Coach O had to say as he previewed Mississippi State. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Y'all, all this week, if you've been outside, I know it's kind of rainy today and it stinks, but if you've been outside, like it's 72 degrees. It's amazing. I mean, it feels like fall. You wake up and it's kind of crisp and cool. It's perfect fall weather right now. It's fall planting season, fall vegetable gardens, fall flowers, those bedding plants. They've got them all right now at Clegg's Nursery. A couple of other things. They've also got all your fall decor. So if you're decorating your front porch, your patio, your back patio, your front yard, if you want the fall garden flags or pumpkins, they've got them at Clegg's Nursery. All the fall decor you can find at Clegg's. Now, things I tell you about Spartan Mosquito Eradicator, still got it. Partner with True Value Hardware Store, so whatever you get at a hardware store, you can get at Clegg's, still got it. And there's 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, so find the location nearest you. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community without being asked? We think that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust. If you know someone who exhibits all of these qualifications, nominate them for a Good Citizen Award, and they could receive $500 from Citizens Bank. And we'll recognize them here on the show. Get the details at citizensbankandtrust.com, and then nominate your good citizen.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a RAV4 for $3,000 off MSRP. That's right, $3,000 off MSRP. And we have plenty in stock. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We're ready to play. We've been looking forward to this for a long time. I want to compliment our football team for not blinking, for always believing that we were going to play, always preparing like we were going to play. Our coaching staff always preparing like we were going to play. Never took a day off, and we didn't think about nothing else but the safety of our football team and starting the season off right.
And they'll do it on Saturday. That was Ed Ogeron, his weekly press conference. It's not a press luncheon this year. Ed will meet with the media via Zoom on Mondays, just sort of the new nature of things and how things are going to work now. But LSU, Ed Ogeron met with the media earlier today, went through a lot as LSU prepares to play Mississippi State on Saturday in Tiger Stadium. Ed also discussed what he called preseason. This is play number one, Brain. Preseason game number 3, which they went through walkthroughs, and preseason game number 3 wasn't exactly one of the scrimmages because there wasn't contact or anything like that. It was more just going through the game day and protocols and things like that. Here's what Ed described what happened last weekend in Tiger Stadium.
There was a lot of energy for the mock game. We wanted to make it game-like. We talked about substitutions, situations, halftime adjustments, a big day in the kicking game. Great job by Greg McMahon and organization. We had a maroon team that was in maroon jerseys. I want to compliment all the coaches on the staff, led by Russ Callahan and Christian Lacouture. I thought they did a tremendous job of getting these guys fired up. Jeff Martin was our energy coordinator. He did a great job of cheering those guys on. They got them all fired up. There was a cowbell on the sideline. Kind of made things like game-like. It was kind of exciting, man. I just want to compliment everybody. We walked off the field feeling very good about our situations, about what we did, and we were ready to play a football game.
Tiger Stadium looks gorgeous. LSU did put a video out, if you go look at their social media, about the whole resurfacing of the playing field at Tiger Stadium. It looks gorgeous the way that they've done it. Obviously, they made a lot of changes in the fan areas at Tiger Stadium for COVID protocols. And Ed Ogeron was asked today, is anyone going to be out because of COVID?
We're currently very low with guys that do have COVID. We're going to test 3 times throughout the week, so things could change, obviously. But right now, we're in good shape. We have very few guys that are out because of COVID.
I believe he also, at one point in the answer, said he didn't want to, what did he say? He didn't want to overstate. I did laugh. I mean, good thing I was muted on the Zoom call because I did laugh, but nonetheless. So he didn't give a number there, but all indications are that the players that you're expecting to be available for LSU are going to be available for LSU on Saturday. Now, Ed also talked about game day protocols for his team. I was curious if how the sideline will work. What about coaches in the booth or on the sideline? Are any of those policies or procedures going to be different for Saturday?
The sidelines, obviously we're going to wear a mask. There'll be a lot less people on the sideline. We're going to try to practice social distance as much as we can. Obviously, that's going to be a challenge, no question. But I think as far as the play calling, as far as the guys in the box, the guys on the sideline, everything's going to remain the same. We want to make sure that everything remains the same as well for our players so they can be comfortable in their environment.
So Ed Ogeron going through today their protocols and what they're expecting for game day on Saturday. Now, what we learned on Friday before we got off air was that the LSU had 2 number 18s and a new number 7. So that was announced over the weekend, or actually on Friday. And Ed Ogeron today talked about awarding 2 18s and the number 7.
18 was a very prestigious number, 2 very deserving young men. We had a lot of men that were very deserving, but these men fit all the categories and graded the highest in all of the categories that we judge them in. Number 18, Chris Curry, and number 18, Damone Clark on defense. Those 2 young men are tremendous leaders, are great LSU Tigers. Both of them fought through adversity. Guys like Chris Curry, some guys would not have stuck around, would have went somewhere else, but he stuck around and got his chance, and he's going to be a great player for us. The number 7 jersey went to Jacoby Stevens, very deserving, outstanding player, outstanding leader for us. He was excited to get it, and I know he's going to wear it with a lot of pride.
So, y'all know how I feel about jerseys. I've talked about it enough. I don't care what jersey number anybody wears. It's just, I always say, let your performance make the number mean something. But the thing that is important is to the players. If the players take a lot of pride in getting that number, cool. That's all that really matters for it. So, like, some fans were upset that Stevens didn't get 18. Like, who cares? I mean, whatever. But I'll say in my opinion, what is most important about this is the 2 guys that are wearing 18 play positions that were gigantic. I mean, massive question marks coming into the season. You lose Clyde Edwards-Helaire and you lose your top 4 linebackers. There was no question when we started this whole process toward the 2020 season, the conversations we were having, of course, after replacing Joe Burrow in the season he had was, you lose 4 of your top 6 offensive linemen, you lose basically your entire defensive front, and then who's going to be the running back? I mean, they've always seemed to answer that question at running back, but the fact that Chris Curry's wearing the 18 tells you you've got another leader on that side of the ball outside of just your quarterback, which is great to see. And then we talked about this a few weeks back that I had heard some rumblings that either Damone Clark or Jabril Cox was going to wear the 18. But either way, when you have those 2 guys now, when you have Jabril Cox and Damone Clark, and that tells you what they think of Damone Clark and the type of season he's poised to have. And when I think about the linebackers that Bo Pelini had in his defense when he were here, if it was Derry Beckwith or Ali Highsmith, certainly Jabril Cox fits that mold. But clearly they think Damone Clark does as well. And you can go in the not-too-distant past at LSU and see guys who only got 1 year really as a starter, made the most of it, and became a high NFL draft pick. It happened a year ago with Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen was a special teams guy. And because of injury, kind of got his opportunity, flashed a little bit in blowouts early. Utah State, he flashed it. And then by the time we got into October, November, December this past season, Patrick Queen was flying all over the field. You couldn't help but notice 8 flying around making plays. Became a first-round draft pick. Now he's leading the Baltimore Ravens in tackles this year. It's incredible. Same with Debo Jones and Duke Riley, guys who had been special teamers their whole career, finally got a chance to be a starter as a senior and made the most of it. Now you look at Damone Clark. He's mostly been a backup, special teamer, rotational player. Now it's your turn, Hoss. Let's see if you can go be a 100-tackle guy out there. Get on NFL teams' radars, and it may be that type of year for Damone Clark, and it's great to see him at that position of need. get the number 18 jersey. Next hour, we'll delve deeper into Mississippi State because Ed Ogeron did deep dive into Mississippi State and prepping for Mike Leach, etc. But he also answered sort of a philosophical question. It was Dennis Dodd of CBS Sports who hopped on the call and asked this one. This was 23 Brain. He asked the question about the age-old question: is it harder to get to the top of the mountain or to stay on top of the mountain?
Well, obviously right now, being where we at, it seems like it'll be harder to maintain it. I mean, it's just, you got to forget about it. You got to learn what we learned from it, forget about it, let it go. This is a new season. I don't want to put too much pressure on this football team. There's a lot of young players out there. We have a first-year quarterback. I remember when Joe was a first-year quarterback, not everything was perfect all the time, and I don't think everything is going to be perfect. This team last year was struggling against Southeast Louisiana, 10-0 at halftime, and everybody was wondering. So I'm looking forward to obviously winning one game at a time, but getting better and giving these guys a chance to grow and learn each other.
Bill Connolly is a writer for ESPN.com, and he also does the SP Plus rankings and ratings and metrics. For whatever that's worth, it's just one of the metrics that ESPN uses. And Bill Connolly today, and he's analyzed all of the college football teams, all the Power Five. And today he handled LSU. And I thought of this when I heard Ed answer that question. Because, and if you go follow Bill Connolly on Twitter, he's at ESPN_Bill C. And he went through all these charts and metrics and graphs and things that wouldn't really make any sense to you unless if you were studying it. But the tweet that resonated the most with me is the last. It was a series of tweets and all these charts and graphs and defensive efficiency. It's basically just, he's a statistical nerd. He just deep dives into the stats and the objective data surrounding these teams. And he tweeted, writing the LSU part of today's SEC West preview made me come back around on them. Oh, right. They still have that guy. And that guy, and that guy. He writes, they also miss UGA. A run at 9-1 or so is doable with just a little rankings overachievement. And so, and he's got all the metrics up there that you can go see and all the win probabilities. And if you want to, and basically the projected wins that they put on the S&P, if you're curious, is the projected wins is 6.4. I mean, if you look at the bottom, if you're looking here, if you're watching with us here, look at the bottom right there. The projected wins is 6.4. Likely, they say 6. Relative toss-ups 3, likely losses 1. So basically what we've talked about, like the likely loss is Alabama. It's what everyone's going to show. And then the toss-ups, they're 3. And they're basically saying you're going to be 6.5. Basically, they think LSU's going to go, the computer's thinking LSU's going to go 1-3 in those games. Those 4 games that we talked about. So my feeling has been, I think they can do one game better than that. I think that's a good standard for this team. The 4, like they got 6 layups. They got 4 games that are toss-ups. The computers show that. I think it's, if you're rational thinking, you can understand that. If they split those 2, they can go 8-2. That's kind of been my thought on the game, on the season, how it may play out. Now, what does 8-2 get you? I don't know. But it was interesting to see that from a national media guy who analyzes metrics to say what we've kind of all been saying here all summer, which is, yeah, they lost a ton. And I can talk about Burrow and Clyde and Jefferson and Chase and Moss and the 4 offensive linemen and Rashard Lawrence and Caleb Von Chasson and Patrick Queen and Jacob Phillips and Grant Delpit and Christian Fulton. And it's a mouthful. And it's a ton. But you can have the same conversation of, look who they have back. Right? We've done that exercise as well when you run through the whole thing. And it's impressive. But this season, the result of this season will be a true test of if LSU is a reload or rebuild type program. Can you lose 14 guys to the draft and still be a title contender? Or is it going to take a couple of years to replenish that depth to be contending again? That's what this year is going to tell us. At least one national media guy today said, yeah, maybe the computers and the metrics who are looking at 6.5, 6, 7 wins for LSU might be missing it because there's more to this team than just what the stats and the numbers show. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Come back. If you want to join us, you know how to do that. You can tweet the show at Matt Moscona at 1045 ESPN. You can jump in the Bayou Ford chat on the 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. We'll knock out a break, come back. A couple of predictions on Raiders Saints from national media types and a recap of what happened yesterday in the NFC South, as today is an awesome opportunity for the New Orleans Saints to create very clear separation in the NFC South. That's coming up next. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital. They're online at brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. Baton Rouge General Hospital, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. They have so many amazing programs over at the Baton Rouge General Hospital and so many awesome ways to advance health care for you. Listen, just because COVID-19 is upon us and we're amid a pandemic, that doesn't mean that people have stopped having babies. It doesn't mean that people have stopped needing emergency care. It doesn't mean that people have stopped needing cancer treatments. It doesn't mean that people have stopped needing surgeries. All of the above are true. And the Baton Rouge General Hospital has continued to balance world-class care along with caring for COVID patients in our community. Learn more at brgeneral.org about all the different products and procedures that they have in place. brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital, which is part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. All of the access to world-class healthcare and research at the Mayo Clinic available to your physician here at the Baton Rouge General.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Camry for $239 per month or take 0% financing for 6 years. $239 per month or 0% for 6 years. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
After Further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Did you watch the Falcons game yesterday?
A little bit.
They're so good at blowing big leads. Actually, they're the best in the history of the NFL at blowing big leads. The Falcons, this is according to ESPN Stats and Info. The Falcons had 39 points on Sunday with 0 turnovers in their loss against the Cowboys. Entering Sunday, teams who had scored 39 points with no turnovers since 1933, which was the year turnovers were first tracked as a statistic in the National Football League. Such teams that scored... I can't even say it. It's so funny. Such teams that had scored 39 points with no turnovers since 1933, they were 440-0. Which one did you enjoy more? Yesterday or the Super Bowl? It's got to be the Super Bowl because it's the Super Bowl. It's 28-3, and 28-3 has been a whole thing. But I was watching that game, and when the Falcons got, or when the Cowboys got the onside kick, were you watching the onside kick?
Saw the onside kick, yes.
If you didn't see it, you've probably seen it by now. But Greg Zuerlein, he didn't run up to the ball. He just planted his plant foot right next to the ball, and he did not have the ball on the tee, and he just kind of swung his leg and just kicked it, and it just squibbed along the ground. It was like a spinning top along the ground. And unbelievably, there are Falcons players encircling the ball, and instead of jumping on it, they let it go the requisite 10 yards, and Cowboys players jump on it. I mean, they're just encircling but just fall on the football. A Dallas player can't touch it yet. Just go up and fall on the football. I mean, that felt like something you would see at a junior high football game. Yes, like when I was playing in CSAL for Most Blessed Sacrament, and we were inevitably getting our ass kicked by St. Thomas More. And we happened to, by some happenstance, a miracle of God, score a touchdown. And then we had to kick off, and we would try to maintain possession. That's like the type of thing that would happen. But that was a professional football game when that happened. People who were paid millions of dollars to play the game, that thing happened. Remember when everybody wanted Dan Quinn to be their coach? Guess what? You're going to have a chance real soon to hire him. It's so good. They stink so bad. It's so good. But they don't even like they scored 39 points. They scored 30 brain. Hey.
Yeah.
They scored 39 points and didn't turn it over and lost. 440-0 was the record of teams with such stats prior to yesterday, and Atlanta did the honors. And the other good news is, of course, that Carolina lost. So now Carolina lost to Tampa Bay, so it was a divisional game. But Atlanta's 0-2, Carolina's 0-2, Tampa's 1-1, and the Saints are 1-0, which means the Saints today, with a win, could very much create separation between them and the Panthers and Falcons. Now, Tampa lingers, and it was a nice day for Tampa yesterday, but it's really hard for me to know how much of that is Tampa coming together or Carolina being exactly what we all thought they were going to be, which is a team in complete rebuild mode, which is only accelerated now because of Christian McCaffrey's injury. If you have not heard, McCaffrey suffered an ankle injury on his 7-yard touchdown run late in the game, limped off the field, did not return, and now, according to Adam Schefter, McCaffrey is expected to be sidelined for multiple weeks. So how many weeks are multiple weeks? I don't know, but when you look at that schedule for Carolina coming up, not that any of us anticipated anything of Carolina this year, but it could be over really before it starts for Carolina. They're at the Chargers this coming week, so they're going to go across country to Carolina. So back-to-back road or to LA. And that Chargers defense, as we saw this past week, really lassoed and corralled Patrick Mahomes. It's hard to imagine this Carolina team without Christian McCaffrey going on the road and having any success whatsoever. Then they have to come home against Arizona, which may be the biggest surprise team in the NFL right now, the efficiency with which Arizona is operating. Then they're on the road at Atlanta, home against Chicago, at New Orleans. So we'll see how it gets. It's not going to be a great run for Carolina either way, but it could get really, really bad really, really quickly without Christian McCaffrey. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Saints, Raiders, Monday Night Football. As we mentioned, this is the opportunity for New Orleans to take a step, to move to 2-0, to maintain its spot atop the division. Today on NFL Live, Marcus Spears and Ryan Clark both gave their picks on the game. Marcus Spears, he likes the Houdettes.
Yeah, I've been a part of a new stadium opening and then getting my head beat in. So I'm taking the Saints to win this game against the Raiders. But be very careful. The Raiders showed a really powerful run game. The offensive line did a tremendous job for Josh Jacobs moving the ball down the field, but it'll be too much. Drew Brees gets back on track. Michael Thomas not playing possibly is a big issue, but I think the Saints at the end of the day has too much firepower for the Oakland Raiders to try to match it offensively.
So that was Marcus Spears. Ryan Clark, however, disagreed. He likes the home team.
Viva Las Vegas! Viva Las Vegas! I'm going with the Las Vegas Raiders. They're opening up the new stadium. We watched this team move the ball last week. Josh Jacobs is a big man. Derek Carr found ways to make plays. They even had an audible called Cindy Gruden. So they're not only winning games, but they sending shout outs to the head coach's wife while doing it. If that's not big baller status, then I don't know what is. Drew Brees struggled a little bit last week. No Michael Thomas this week. A very young secondary that got a game under their belt. Las Vegas gets this one at home. It doesn't mean that they're the better team. Just mean they're going to be better for 3 hours.
I'll give you my pick next hour, and I'm telling you right now I'm going to completely disagree with Ryan Clark. The Saints are the better team, and the movement in the point spread from 5.5 down to 4 feels like a giant overreaction because of Michael Thomas. Like we said last week, if the Saints could win 5 games without Drew Brees, they can go beat a very average Las Vegas team on Monday Night Football in primetime without Michael Thomas. I'll have a chance to do it. We'll give you a pick next hour. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. And they're hiring. If you lost your job due to COVID-19, if you're still looking for work, if you want to work and can't find work, Shawbills is looking for all positions. Managers, storefront workers. They need mechanics as well with all different levels of certification. Shawbills wants to talk to you. Locations all over South Louisiana. 2 more coming in the greater Baton Rouge area. 1 at the end of 2020, 1 early 2021. Apply in person or online at ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. It's been a good day, man. A really good Monday. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We'll go heavy Monday Night Football in hour number 3. We'll have Otter Locks with Jimmy Ott, and then Sean Fazan will be live with us from Allegiant Stadium 1 hour from right now to give you a scene setter and some last little tidbits before the game kicks off with the Saints and the Raiders. If you missed hour 1, Scott Branson was with us from Raider Nation Radio. does a daily show covering the Raiders out on ESPN in Las Vegas. So we appreciate Scott for joining us. If you missed that, you can catch it on demand at 1045ESPN.com. But it's after further review. Let me take my final break of hour number 2. When we come back, we'll have Tigers and the Pros. Stick around. AFR.
AFR.
It is finally game week. If you need your LSU game day gear, you need to get to Carriages in Bocage. And if you can't get to Carriages in Bocage, you can get online to carriagesbr.com. Carriagesbr.com. Go to the game day tab right there at the top, and you'll see all of the officially licensed LSU gear. LSU will be raising a flag in Tiger Stadium, and you can wear that logo in Tiger Stadium at your home, at your game watch, at your sports bar, whatever it may be. The national championship logo on Peter Millar performance gear. They got the great collab as well with Johnny O brand that they've done with the Linden Stripe performance polo, the lavender with the national championship logo. It is fantastic, and it is only at Carriages in Bocage. If you want a classier game day line, shirts, polos, shorts, belts, socks, they got it at Carriages in Bocage. Check them out, Carriages in Bocage or carriagesbr.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At Cordell Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a Tundra for $7,000 off MSRP. That's right, $7,000 off MSRP. And we have plenty in stock. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Cordell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Failure happens to us all, but it's how champions evolve.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Glad you're hanging out with us. Otter Locks in 45 minutes. What are we checking on with the point spreads out in Vegas? Jimmy Ott will have it for us. Sean Fazan 1 hour from right now. Right now, though, the Brain has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
Did not take long for Leonard Fournette to find his groove in Tampa Bay. Fournette going 103 yards on just 12 carries. He found the end zone twice as well. Fournette not the only LSU representation in that game. Devin White, 15 tackles, 11 solo.
He's leading the NFL.
I know.
He's leading the NFL in tackles through 2 weeks.
It's disgusting.
It's actually not surprising in any way. It looks like all that guy does. And with Fournette, the funniest part is when they signed Fournette, Arian said, Ronald Jones is our starter. It's like, yeah, until he's not.
Right.
And
give it about 2 weeks.
That's about right. It's my fear is as the season goes along, people are going to see why I was so upset the Saints didn't pursue Fournette. You had a transcendent talent at that position at a bargain basement price that you didn't pursue.
Who now has a reason to be even hungrier.
Yeah.
Right there with you, man. Russell Gage was 0 for 1 throwing the ball Sunday. Quarterback rating of 39.
He stinks.
Fortunately, he catches the ball better than he throws it. 4 catches for 46 yards and a touchdown for Gage.
He did have a really significant drop in that game as well.
I did not see the drop. Yeah. I saw the touchdown.
Touchdown was great.
On the flip side of the ball, Deion
Good
Jones.
for him, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Russell Gage was a 3-star coming out of Redemptress, last guy in the class type deal, who was in a receiver room at the end of Jarvis Odell and Shark and all. I mean,
100-yard game last week. Finds the end zone again this week.
He made an NFL team because of special teams, and now he's finding a way to stay because he's turned into a pretty decent receiver. So good on him, man.
Yep. Flip side of the ball, Deion Jones, 6 tackles and half a sack. Though I'm sure talking about Atlanta's defense in any way, shape, or form today is a tough sell.
Special teams might even be worse.
Yeah. They just watched it. They just watched it.
How do you not fall on the ball? I don't get it. How do you not just fall on the ball? I'm watching that play.
Even though they're Atlanta, it's still frustrating.
It's not frustrating at all. It's perplexing.
There you go. That's better.
It's perplexing. It's like, how do you not just? I mean, part of me understands you don't want to muff it, right? You don't want to touch the ball, but
have it squirt out, right?
And what if it doesn't go 10 yards? I'm like, but that thing's going 10 yards. Just fall on it.
Right.
Just fall on it.
There's 4 of your guys there.
Yeah.
You got numbers.
Yeah.
Hey, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 10 carries for 38 yards yesterday.
Now they finally did it phonetically.
So I don't know if that jersey was real or was Photoshopped. I saw it in one spot online and then retweeted a lot.
I mean, this is the shot. I mean, for those watching, it was a hyphenated Edwards Hilaire instead of Helaire, but everyone calls him Hilaire anyway, or Hilaire. It's like, why can't anybody? It's so easy. It's just Hilaire. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Why is that hard? Why can nobody do this?
Clyde also had 6 catches for 32 yards.
Or just call him Clyde.
Just call him Clyde.
When I called his games at Catholic, I just called him Clyde all the time because it was easier than saying Edwards-Helaire.
Right. It's a lot of syllables.
Or Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I just said Clyde. That's all I did. I just said Clyde.
Talk about LSU Tigers that are just beasts on defense right now. Patrick Queen led Baltimore in tackles again yesterday. 9 tackles, 7 solo, hit the quarterback once.
He's their leading tackler, too.
Talk about LSU Tigers are just beast on defense on Sunday. How about the Sunday night game? Jamal Adams, 10 tackles, 6 of them solo. Adams had a sack. They had him listed as 1 tackle for loss, but I know there was more than that. I'm pretty sure he had more than that. Also hit the quarterback twice.
He doesn't stink.
No. Another good game for DJ Shark yesterday. 4 catches, 84 yards for Jacksonville, though Jacksonville did not look nearly as good as they did the previous week. Justin Jefferson only got 3 targets yesterday, caught all 3 of them for 44 yards. Interesting note with the 44 yards there. Dante Jackson, 1 interception, 44 yards. Christian Fulton, 1 interception, 44 yards.
That was pretty cool.
A lot of 44s happening there for former Tigers.
44.
Devon Gottschall looked good for Miami yesterday. 6 tackles, 3 of them solo, and he hit the quarterback as well. In that same game, Tre'Davious White was good for 4 tackles, 2 pass deflections as well. And Kelvon Chassong got his first sack yesterday.
Saw that.
Yeah.
Not a boy.
Oh, one more. Quan Alexander had 5 tackles, 1 for a loss. And that's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp Online, KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com. I told y'all they were going to run out of the free bottles of CBD oil, and they did. So that's not there anymore. But you can still go to the website, KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com. Use the promo code AFR30, AFR30, save 30% off. If you struggle with inflammation, if you have anxiety, if you have trouble sleeping, maybe if your pets have anxiety, they even have CBD for pets, CBD dog treats for your pets. Anyway, Kentucky's Best Hemp, KYSBestHemp.com. Use the promo code AFR30, save 30% off your order at Kentucky's Best Hemp. Hour 3 coming up right after SportsCenter.
AFR.
If you're thinking about buying a new car, if you're in the market for a new vehicle, put Volkswagen on your list. If you've never done that, if you've never shopped a Volkswagen, great. You're where I was about 10 years ago. I'd never driven a Volkswagen. No one in my family had ever owned a Volkswagen. It's nothing I'd ever thought of or considered owning. And I went to Volkswagen at South Point and test drove every single model that they had on the lot, from their SUVs and their sedans and the Beetle and everything, all of it. And I was hooked. They're amazingly engineered. 9 different IIHS top safety picks. That's the highest safety designation that you can receive. So if you're a parent buying that first car for your kid, you want something affordable but safe, Jetta is an awesome option. If you're a family, I drive an Atlas. Go to family vacation. We have plenty of room for all of our stuff. And I know it's safe. Safe, stylish, without the cost. Great German engineering, manufactured at their Tennessee plant. Shop them today. South Point Volkswagen.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Highlander for $4,000 off MSRP. Yes, $4,000 off MSRP, and we have many in stock. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi, developing story. The 49ers awaiting MRI results on defensive lineman Nick Bosa's injured knee. The team fears he has a torn ACL. Of all the NFL injuries from Week 2, Bosa's is the biggest, believes ESPN NFL senior writer Bill Barnwell.
A player who, really fundamentally changed the way the Niners played defense a year ago and just took them to a new level. Even given all the talent they already had, it's just a huge injury. And I think the Niners, maybe they could shoulder it better if they were healthier at other places, but they're the most banged-up team in football right now.
Bill Barnwell with Chinea Ogwumike and Mike Golick Jr. You heard him mention Niners running back Tevin Coleman out multiple weeks with a knee injury. Team is hoping that injured QB Jimmy Garoppolo can play this week. Running back Raheem Mostert will not likely play. An MRI confirmed Giants running back Saquon Barkley has a torn ACL. He's out the rest of the season. Former Falcons running back Devontae Freeman visits the Giants tomorrow. Broncos receiver Cortland Sutton has a torn ACL. His season's over. Denver QB Drew Lock with a rotator cuff strain out 3 to 5 weeks. Vikings linebacker Anthony Barr on IL with a torn pec. He's likely out for the season.
Coming up Tuesday, it's Monday Night Football from Las Vegas. So who will become the NFL's 12th 2-0 team? And will they be ranked in my top 5 real rankings? Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, Tuesday, 6 Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN News.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Joseph Rodriguez.
Hey, Joe, what you doing?
The Brain.
Hey, the Brain got a poop.
And Mr. Toby Tom Play. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one, y'all. It is game day and game week. Saints, Raiders tonight, Monday Night Football. We are headed out to Las Vegas in about 45 minutes from right now. And, of course, it's game week for LSU. Ed Ogeron met with the media earlier today to preview LSU, Mississippi State. We'll get into that. We do have, however, some breaking news here as we start the 5 o'clock hour number 3 here. And this has got to be breaking news. And this is on the homepage at ESPN.com. When you look at the headlines right there at ESPN.com, go look at the headlines right there. You'll see it. As we zoom in, LSU has picked Miles Brennan to succeed Joe Burrow at quarterback. Breaking news. It's you knew that?
That made the homepage.
Did you? Wait, you knew that?
Yeah.
Who are your sources?
Sources.
Maybe it's Ed Ogeron who said 1 million times this summer that Miles Brennan's the quarterback.
Could be.
It's like, this isn't even on the college football page at ESPN.com. It's on the homepage. You go to the homepage, on the right side of the homepage, top headlines. Jimmy G has a chance to play. Broncos lose Sutton for the year. Bama names Mac Jones quarterback for the opener. LSU picks Brennan to succeed Burrow. It's right there. Boom. LSU picks Miles Brennan to succeed Burrow quarterback. In case you didn't know. So LSU's opened up a 19-point favorite over Mississippi State Saturday in Tiger Stadium. I like it. The number's probably right. Interestingly enough, though, Vegas has been uncharacteristically off so far. And some of that makes sense, right? You've had opt-outs. You've had no fans. They're just variables that have been really difficult to account for when it comes to handicapping games. But for now, we're looking at LSU as a 19-point favorite early over Mississippi State. It's actually in some places dropped. I'm looking at ESPN right now, and they've got it at 16.5 right now with LSU as a favorite. So that number's come down. Personally, and we'll get Friday when we talk about this game, we'll give a pick. I think LSU's going to have no trouble at all covering that number. But then again, who really knows what to expect in many respects with this? Here's what I'll say with regard to the matchup in particular, and we'll get into some of what Ed Orgeron had to say as he started previewing the matchup. When I look at Mississippi State, obviously they are one of the more intriguing teams in the SEC because Mike Leach has been one of the more notorious head coaches in college football, from Texas Tech, obviously to Washington State, now Mississippi State, running the air raid. He made Texas Tech a national contender. He won at Washington State, and now he's bringing that offense into the Southeastern Conference. So, can Mike Leach make this work in the SEC? I think is a fascinating test case to see if it'll work against SEC defenses. And he'll face a really athletic LSU defense on Saturday with an attacking style with Bo Pelini and a fast, athletic defensive front. And maybe they'll have some success offensively. But the other thing to keep in mind specifically with this matchup is that Mike Leach's defenses have never been good. When you look back, just over the last 3 years, 2017, 50th in scoring defense. 2018, 58th in scoring defense. Last year, Washington State last year was 93rd in the country in scoring defense. Even if Leach's teams are able to put up some points, I don't know that I have any confidence at all in Mississippi State's ability to stop LSU from doing whatever it wants moving up and down the field. Remember, Mississippi State also lost 5 of its top 7 leading tacklers from a year ago. Yes, they returned Errol Thompson in the inside. They returned 2 rotational defensive linemen from a year ago, but that are really good players and probably better defensive linemen than any that Leach has ever had at any of his stops. I'm saying that sort of flippantly. I don't know if I went back and dissected it. Maybe there was a kid one year at Texas Tech that became a high draft pick or something I'm not thinking of. But by and large, State's defenses the past couple of years have been really good. From 2 years ago with Jeffrey Simmons and Montez Sweat to last year, they were still a really good defensive team, but they lost much of the core of that defense from a year ago, which makes the challenge of replacing Burrow and a lot of those guys on offense a little bit easier for LSU on Saturday. There's a few really big questions, though, that I have about how this game is going to play out. We'll delve into that, but Ed Orgeron did talk about what it's been like studying Mike Leach and getting ready for this game.
Mike Leach has done a very good job wherever he's at with the air raid. He has some tremendous offensive weapons at Mississippi State. Colin Hill, one of the backs that I had the most respect for, some of the most respect for in the SEC last year. A very dangerous back, and especially in the spread offense. We've been studying his offense at Washington State, and his running backs could hit the hole, could bounce it out, and make people miss.
So it wasn't just Washington State, though. One of the things Orgeron said, which is very interesting, and this is 15, Brain. Not only do you have a new head coach in Mike Leach, you've got a new defensive coordinator in Zach Arnett, who came from San Diego State, and you've got a new quarterback in KJ Costello, who's coming from Stanford. So the particulars of who you're going to see on Saturday all come from very different places to intersect in Baton Rouge on Saturday, and that's created a different challenge for LSU in preparing for this game.
The COVID-19 was an advantage for us in some ways that we wasn't out in spring recruiting, and we were able to game plan all of our teams on our schedule. I think Mississippi State was maybe the 8th game on the schedule, and we had already had game plan them. So you got to look at Washington State for scheme on offense. You got to look at San Diego State scheme for defense, and then you got to look at Mississippi State for personnel. So you're really scouting 3 different teams, so it's 3 times the work.
So And Costello, as you mentioned, is the fourth. If you're scouting Costello, then you're looking at Stanford for what Costello did at Stanford, scouting that player as well, that personnel. So it's a challenge, certainly, to prepare for this in particular. But LSU is just that much better of a roster and of a program right now than Mississippi State. But Arnett led a very strong defense at San Diego State last year. And as we've talked about, something that Leach has never been able to do, really, is establish a consistent defensive presence. Here was Ed Ogeron talking about Mississippi State's new defense.
On defense, Zach Arnett's coming from San Diego State. Very impressive numbers. Gave up 12.7 points per game, was second in the country. He was second in a couple of categories. I think he had a top 5 defense overall. And as we know, Mississippi State always has big, agile defensive linemen, 2 outstanding linebackers, safeties that are going to hit you, corners that's going to cover. I have a lot of respect for Mississippi State. I've played them a bunch. Those young men are very tough. They love football. They're going to be very well coached. So it'll be a tremendous talent for a football team.
And Ogeron, again, meeting with the media on Monday via Zoom, previewing Mississippi State. I mentioned for me, there's a few questions that I have. Obviously, most notably is going to be the quarterbacks, right? This is one of the most intriguing matchups in the SEC because of the quarterbacks. You have KJ Costello, a grad transfer who 2 years ago threw for 3,500 yards and 29 touchdowns at Stanford. Now he's at Mississippi State running Mike Leach's air raid. And Mike Leach is familiar with him because they were both in the Pac-12 and they scouted each other, played against each other every year. So that's part of this equation. Can that offense work in this league? 1. 2 is Miles Brennan, because not only is it a new quarterback, sort of an atypical situation with a guy who waited his turn, but the flip side of it is he's replacing Joe Burrow. And when you're the guy replacing the quarterback with the greatest season in the history of college football, there's obviously going to be a lot of attention, a lot of added pressure on Miles Brennan this year. So which quarterback can develop timing? Remember, Costello, also coming over from Stanford, arrived late because Stanford's on that quarter system. So like we saw this with Andres Pete when the Saints drafted him. He was late to camp because he was still finishing his degree in school because Stanford's on the quarter system. So Costello got to Starkville later than normally would have been. Got a later start. You throw in all the COVID factors, et cetera. How much of that does it impact? So the quarterback play is a big one for me. Pressuring the quarterbacks is going to be significant. Can LSU in that defensive front get pressure on Costello? The only way really to disrupt that offense is to disrupt the timing of the routes. And it's very hard to pressure quarterbacks when everything's timing. Shotgun, 1-2, throw. So the way you do it is you're either able to cover and make the quarterback hold the ball a beat longer and get pressure, or you lock down receivers and interrupt those passing lanes. I think LSU certainly has the athletes to do it, but can they pressure Costello? And then the flip side is true. Can this LSU offensive line hold up? Mississippi State has Errol Thompson back. They had 2 really good defensive linemen back. This will be a better defense talent-wise than Leach has ever had. But still don't know if this Mississippi State defense is good enough to keep pace with LSU. They did a good job a year ago, relatively, speaking of the rest of college football, in Starkville. But when you look at LSU's front line, Liam Shanahan in the middle is a massive part of this equation working. I mean, he's one half of that battery. And, Ed Ogeron talked when they first got Liam Shanahan, he talked about if he wasn't sure if Liam would be able to transition with the physicality from the Ivy League to the SEC. We're going to find out, but I asked Ed earlier today what he's seen from Liam so far in camp, if that's alleviated any of his concern about that transition.
He's done well, surprisingly well. That was my biggest concern. He was going against Tyler, goes against Apu, goes against Joe Evans. Very smart, as we know that, can make all the calls, but he's physical enough. And now he's going to get tested throughout the year, especially when they put one of those 350-pounders right on top of him. He's got to block him, but I think he can. In fact, I feel good about it. I'm very glad that we have him. He's been a big plus for us.
Ed Ogeron, again, previewing LSU, Mississippi State, something we'll delve deeper into as we move throughout this week. But line of scrimmage is always so key, especially in this league. LSU lost a ton on the line of scrimmage, but they have a lot back. Let's see how LSU and Mississippi State match up on Saturday. Tigers are a big favorite. That line opened at 19. It's dropped a little bit, but I think the Tigers will have no problem winning this game on Saturday with ease. So we'll delve deeper into that as the week moves along. All right, it's after further review. We do have Monday Night Football tonight, and the rest of our show is going to be all Monday Night Football. Get you an update on Mike Thomas, who we know isn't playing, but what about that ankle? Let's talk about that. Take a look at Allegiant Stadium, which will open in just a few hours on Monday Night Football. Jimmy Ott will join us for Otterlocks. We'll get a preview from Sean Fazan, who is at Allegiant Stadium. That's all coming up here on AFR as we move through hour number 3, getting you set for Monday Night Football. Stay here.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River Cities 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001 for River Cities 1 Hour Air. The weather's getting a little bit cooler outside right now. That doesn't mean you need to neglect your AC. Remember, this happens every year. There's a storm in the Gulf. We got a little bit of a mild temp because of that system coming through. But you know we're going to get a heat snap again. It happens every single year. And so you're going to still fire up that AC probably for another month or two before we got to start talking about our heaters. Don't neglect it. If you've not had your AC clean, tuned up, heated, River Cities 1 Hour Air can take care of that. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001 for just $97. They'll get your AC running efficiently again. River Cities 1 Hour Air.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Bye. Further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So Saints play on Monday Night Football tonight. Next week, though, they're on Sunday Night Football hosting Green Bay. That will not, however, be Al Michaels calling that game. It's going to be Mike Tirico. So NBC, Al Michaels last evening on the game kind of let it snip that he's taking a bye week next week with Saints and Packers. That means Mike Tirico will fill in next to Chris Collinsworth. This is part of the gradual transition to the booth. Al Michaels is 75 years old. Back in 2016, they hired Mike Tirico from ESPN as the heir apparent to Al Michaels on Sunday Night Football, but Michaels has continued calling games, and so they're working in ways for Tirico, who's 53 years old, to take this role eventually. So next week, when the Saints play the Packers on Sunday Night Football, it will be Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth on the call. Incidentally, Tirico could end up working with Drew Brees, because Brees, we know, has signed a deal with NBC. So when his career ends, he'll go to work for NBC. He'll begin largely working studio work for the NFL and calling Notre Dame games. But inevitably, Chris Collinsworth will retire. Collinsworth's 61 years old. I didn't know Collinsworth was 61, but he's 61. And when Collinsworth steps away, it's very likely that Brees would step into that role, replacing Collinsworth alongside Mike Tirico. But it'll be Tirico on the call when the Saints play the Packers next week. Oddly enough, it is a Packers team doctor who could well decide if Mike Thomas plays against the Packers. Listen to this. So the Saints are sending Michael Thomas to Green Bay, or they're sending his MRI to Green Bay to Dr. Robert Anderson. He's a renowned orthopedic surgeon, and so the Saints wanted to get his opinion on Thomas's injury, and he determined that Thomas has a mild high ankle sprain. So the Saints are going to send Thomas to Green Bay this week to meet with Anderson in person. The oddity here is that Anderson is also the Packers team doctor. So the Packers team doctor likely will play a huge role in determining if Michael Thomas, Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas, plays against the Green Bay Packers. That's really odd. Something else, though, that really sparked in my mind with this, and you heard it in SportsCenter at the top of the hour, and you've seen a bunch of the injuries. With the 49ers, with Bosa and Mostert and Garoppolo, with Kittle. You've seen it all at McCaffrey, who we talked about earlier with the Panthers. Saquon Barkley, unfortunately, tore his ACL. Drew Lock injured. We've seen a lot of these injuries so far this year. And there's been this sort of question, and I know a lot of people have asked it, is the lack of a preseason, the lack of an offseason contributing to these injuries? And I know that intellectually that kind of makes sense, but I don't have the answer, by the way, and I'm going to try to get Dr. Chip Banks, the Saints team physician, back on the show, maybe even tomorrow or one day this week, to talk about this in greater detail. And I obviously have no idea. As far as being an orthopedist or what may cause soft tissue injuries, I have no idea. But there does feel like there's a randomness to these injuries, and we're just more aware of it because of the lack of an offseason, so we're sort of looking for it. There's actually data that shows that there is no correlation between a lesser offseason and a lesser practice time and more injuries. So, I mean, take this for what it's worth. It's just data. Take it for what it's worth. I'm not arguing one side or the other. I'm interested in this, though. But I saw this today. Football Outsiders did this back in 2018 when the collective bargaining agreement went into place and there were fewer practices. Pull this up, Joe. Football Outsiders did a full analysis on this when Bill Belichick made the argument that fewer practices were leading to more injuries. So Football Outsiders, I tweeted this link again. It's from 2018, but they basically, I'm going to spare you all the details and all the confusing graphs and numbers, but suffice to say that there has not been a noticeable increase in the number of injuries as practice time has decreased in the NFL. That's ultimately the conclusion that they drew with the new CBA going into place. Actually, the new CBA went into place in 2011, and the 2 subsequent years, you saw injuries dip the 2 following seasons. Then it went back up and leveled off to where it had been. But kind of what it shows is that you just have there is just sort of a randomness to all of this. But I know that doesn't sit well with fans who have seen star players go down. But Michael Thomas spraining his ankle, that had nothing to do with lack of practice time. He got rolled up on. I mean, that happens. Unfortunately, it happens every year to players. You just hold your breath and hope it doesn't happen to your player on your favorite team. All right, it's after further review. Saints, of course, we know will be without Michael Thomas tonight. I'm watching Sean Payton as we speak, being interviewed on ESPN there on the field at Allegiant Stadium on SportsCenter. I'm going to be so interested to see this ball game tonight as they debut Allegiant Stadium, and we're going to get a good view of the Raiders' new venue, this gorgeous $2 billion venue out in the desert. A couple of things, noteworthy features. They've got an 85-foot torch, known to be the largest 3D printed object in the world. It's the Al Davis Memorial Torch, pays tribute to the late owner of the Raiders. The field is retractable. If you're watching, it just showed it. It's the University of Phoenix Stadium in Phoenix was the first to have that retractable field. And what it does is it goes out of, I mean, it's basically on a track where this field can go out of the stadium to get exposure to sunlight. And then they wheel it, or on the track, back into the venue. The field is retractable. The roof, however, is not. The roof is not retractable, but it is sort of a translucent view, and it is a gorgeous-looking venue there at Allegiant Stadium. And the Saints are going to get to christen it tonight against the Raiders out in the desert. A couple of other things that you may notice. They have a nightclub in the end zone, which would actually be really cool if there were people there, and that's so typically Las Vegas to have a nightclub. But there's a nightclub in the end zone where it's limited to a few hundred people, and it would be a ticketed venue, but obviously it won't be open there tonight. And then they have loge seats. They basically are meshing business class air travel in the NFL. These loge seats have a USB charger. You have a dashboard in every seat with your own TV. And then in every seat, you have your own TV in every seat. You're at a game and you have a TV in your seat. And then they have a cooler for each seat that you could put your drinks in. So it's the next generation, obviously, of what we're seeing here with these beautiful venues, these new stadiums that are gorgeous, that are changing the game. And it's every single year it seems like a new one opens. And I know we have this conversation over and over again because of how massive events like the Super Bowl may be awarded to these venues, to the new venues, and if the Superdome can keep up with venues like Allegiant Stadium. But eventually they'll all get their Super Bowl, and it'll reset, and New Orleans has one scheduled on the books. But they'll open up Allegiant Stadium, $1.9 billion tonight in Las Vegas, and the Saints will have the honors of beating the Raiders to christen that stadium. Remember, the New York Giants beat the Dallas Cowboys for the debut of Jerry World, so would not be uncommon to see a new stadium christened with a loss for the home team, and that's going to happen tonight. We'll give you a pick before we get out of here. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Jimmy Ott will join us for Otter Locks. We're going to flip Jimmy from his normal segment. He'll come up next because we have Sean Fazan, who's at Allegiant Stadium, Fox 8 New Orleans. He'll join us in 15 minutes for Scene Setter and some final tidbits on Saints and Raiders tonight. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Ichiban, Essen near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. Make tonight an Ichiban night. If you're going to be watching Monday Night Football, what else would you rather do? What else would you rather do but swing into Ichiban, pick up your order to go, take it to the house, get comfortable, munch on some award-winning sushi, and watch the Saints kick the crap out of the Raiders. Pretty good night. Maybe you'd rather go to Ichiban, either location, Essen near Perkins or Airline Highway in Gonzales. Either would be a great option. Got a big 70-inch flat screen behind the bar. They got all-weather patio dining with TVs at both locations on the patio. So if you want to go enjoy this beautiful fall-ish weather in a climate-controlled, weather-free atmosphere, you can at Ichiban. Essen near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. Voted by you the best sushi and best hibachi and the best 225. Make tonight an Ichiban night.
When it's clearance time, smart customers rush to Richard's Honda because all your favorite Honda models are at fantastic prices. And with our fanatical customer care, it's no wonder people call Richard's Honda the smart choice.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Your Honda needs some TLC, and Richard's Honda is the smart place to get it. With oil changes at just $39. And with so many service bays, you'll be in and out super fast. Schedule your appointment today at richardshonda.com.
Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Do we see the confetti fall? Be ready for war. Tell them that's what we ready for. War.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Saints, Raiders, Monday Night Football. Fitting. The game's in Las Vegas, so we'd welcome on Jimmy Ott for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks, presented by Hot Rods Creole. The way to Creole. Shop online, hotrodscreole.com.
Otter, how was the weekend, man?
It was good. It was good, you know. I mean, I told you on Friday, I was like, I really don't like the Saturday card, but I do like the Sunday card a lot. Well, you know, one of my picks was Houston against Baylor. It was postponed, and I was kind of bummed. I wish that all of them would have been postponed. A little buckshot golden sombrero in the spirit of Superior Grill today. 0-4 on Friday, but 5-2 yesterday, and you know, rolling, man. So I mean, it was, and you know what? Angle just backfired on Saturday. The team that has the game under their belt have an advantage against a team that hasn't played already. I mean, Georgia Tech, Middle Tennessee State, Duke, several teams, they still got beat pretty bad. So yesterday, though, this was a lot of road favorites. The public gravitates to road favorites, and, man, they just pounded them. And you say, well, the underdogs went 8-7, but the favorites straight up went 15-1. I'm sorry, 14-1. 14-1. The only winner was the Rams, who weren't favored when I talked to you on Friday, who went off as a 2-point dog. Money line parlays are big things right now, and they always close them out with the last few games. So they're all closing out with Kansas City money line, and the Chargers are winning the whole game. The Chargers get the coin flip, but the Chargers don't realize they've got Anthony Lynn on their sideline, who's going to punt to Patrick Mahomes. 75 and sunny in L.A. A kicker who's kicking 65-yard field goals like it's his job. What is the chances he's going to get them in field goal range?
Pretty good.
So, they had that. So then they closed them out. Hey, they snuck in this NBA game. All close. The Lakers are going to roll. They killed them in game one. Oh, we're down with 2 seconds to go. Oh, the book's going to get out. No. Anthony Davis with a 3. And then, oh, wait, they can finally get a little air. They get a little air. They're talking about 1 yard away. Didn't happen with Cam Newton. They are crying. We don't cry for the book, okay? They are crying today because they're talking about Super Bowl swing on those last 2 games, Lakers and New England. Lakers hitting and Seattle hitting to cover just money line last night. It was a rough day for the book out in Las Vegas.
Wow. What about tonight, man? Are we betting Monday Night Football? What do you think about the line?
Here's the thing for you. Do you know how many? It's 32 teams in the NFL. Yes, you know that. How many do you think have been called for holding penalties this season?
32.
All of them.
Yeah.
18.
Only 8?
This is not 18.
Oh, wow. Oh, 18.
This is not by coincidence. This is 2 weeks in a row that the penalty numbers are way, way down, especially with the holding. And I just think they kind of let them play. But the overs are hitting. The overs are 10-5 this week. So, including our under on Thursday night. Okay? Yes. I mean, I'm here. So, 48. And listen, some of the overs, they're not even close, man. We're talking about 3 touchdowns, stuff like that. So, Saints, I love it because all the Raiders action, they're in love. It's an historic night. I mean, there was once upon a time when the NFL wouldn't even run Vegas promotion commercials during the Super Bowl and things like that. Now they're housing a team in Las Vegas. Now you can go get edibles down the street and make a bet. I mean, what is this world? Are we going through prohibition? Is this what our ancestors went through with prohibition? And they are betting the Raiders with both hands. Raiders fever's on fire. The sports books are popping. We got 2 guests tonight in the sports books tonight, live from Las Vegas, and it's driven the line down to 4. Everybody's talking about how are they going to recover from Michael Thomas. Well, the great equalizer is the Raiders secondary. Those cornerbacks are horrible.
That's so true.
We might even see a Traquan Smith sighting tonight. All right, they are the equalizer. Give me the Saints. Hook it with the over. Get out tonight with the Houdat in the over.
All right, so wait, do you like the Saints to cover and the over?
Yes.
All right, so are you parlaying the Saints to cover and the over?
With both hands, yes.
I like it, Otter. You know what?
Yes.
I'm looking. I'm looking
it's usually a jump play.
I'm looking at the total at 48, and I'm looking at the line at 4. Is that what you're seeing?
Exactly, and they've come down, and it's just, I mean, hey, man. I mean, now we're gonna see a couple of things. Okay, we're gonna hear a couple of things. We're gonna hear this stadium is just incredible. It's incredible over and over. The NFL loves a new stadium. My gosh, Collinsworth and Michaels with the Rams stadium last week against the Cowboys. And the other thing we're going to hear,
fine. I mean, come on, man.
And then Goodell's going to say, we need points. We need an exciting game, an historic game. No holding penalties, baby. over in the Who Dat.
All right. He's Jimmy Ott. Where are y'all tonight?
Superior Grill.
Oh,
You ever been
okay.
here? You ever been here?
I think I saw you there the last time. You're always there, posted up at the bar.
Guess where we are broadcasting from? Right where you saw me.
I have no doubt.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Mitzi, my man Roscoe, we're going to talk to Paulie Howard live from Vegas Sports and Information Network in the first hour. We're going to talk to Dwayne Colucci, Sports and Racebook Manager at the Rampart, getting a feel of what's going on out there.
Enjoy the night, Otter. Enjoy some football, man. We'll talk tomorrow.
Who dat?
That is Jimmy Ott. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. Of course, if you're not in Baton Rouge, you can watch Game Time with Jimmy Ott on the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Our chats with Jimmy are brought to you by Hot Rods Creole, the way to Creole. Actually, Erica cooked yesterday. She made some, I think it was some kind of meatballs. I don't know what they were, but she packed them and topped them with the garlic butter from Hot Rods Creole. Amazing. Find your favorite product. Support a great local company, which has grown incredibly. Rodney Beloso, a.k.a. Hot Rod, done an awesome job, man. And look, here's what I would suggest you do. Go to hotrodscreole.com, hotrodscreole.com, and they have boxes. They got the starter kit and the Big Daddy box with all of their products. So you can get, the Big Daddy box has all of them, and the starter kit has seasonings and the jambalaya and some of the barbecue sauce as well. Start there. Use the promo code AFR. Use the promo code AFR and get free shipping. Promo code AFR and get free shipping at hotrodscreole.com. Hotrodscreole.com. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. You can kill the bed. No, just kill the bed. Thank you. Thank you. There's a lot going on there. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Monday Night Football just a couple of hours away. I'm pumped about it. I love Monday Night Football. Let's knock out our final break here of hour number 3. Please don't make me go back. When we come back, we're going to Vegas. Sean Fazan, Fox 8 in New Orleans. He'll jump aboard with us next to give a scene setter final game preview. Saints, Raiders, Monday Night Football. It's coming up next. Stay here.
AFR.
Need a place to watch the game tonight? Pluckers is always a great option. Essen, Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Nicholson, just south of campus. That's Pluckers. Dine in or carry out. 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. That's Pluckers. Look, they're opening up Allegiant Stadium tonight on Monday Night Football. The Saints are playing on Monday Night Football. We've been cooped up for so long, quarantine and whatever it may be. Pluckers is open. They've got magnificent views of every angle in the restaurant, of TVs of this ball game. Where else would you possibly want to be but at Pluckers? I got another reason why you should go to Pluckers. It's Monday. And Monday's all you can eat wings. Eat as many wings as you want. Watch Monday Night Football. Drink beer. It's like a gift from heaven. It's Pluckers. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today. At All-Star Toyota,
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Inside of 2 hours now, Saints, Raiders, they will christen Allegiant Stadium on Monday Night Football. Saints will do the honors. And Sean Fazan there for an historic day. Our buddy from Fox 8 in New Orleans, they're covering the game tonight. He's good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. Sean, one good thing about an empty stadium is we don't have to worry about crowd noise. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Yeah, no crowd noise. I got to tell you, it's a nice stadium, and they're pumped here in Vegas about the NFL returning. It was all over their local news and local TV and local radio stations today. So, yeah, they're pumped about the NFL back in Sin City for the first time.
I can absolutely understand that. Set the scene, though. I mean, you're in the stadium now. What's it like being in that beautiful, giant, empty stadium?
Well, it's not Matt Moscona take down national sports media type beautiful, but it's up there. It's a gorgeous stadium. It's very new. It's got natural grass field. Interestingly enough, $1.9 billion is what they told me. Natural grass for Las Vegas Raiders, but they roll it out and put field turf for UNLV. So it's a state-of-the-art facility. It's right in the middle of everything down in Las Vegas. Big black hole right in the middle of the desert. So it's a fun environment, and it sucks that they can't have fans there because they certainly enjoy it.
What's it going to be like, or what was it like in Las Vegas today? And I know you mentioned TV and radio, but like just if you were able to drive around the city, what was it like being around Vegas today?
Ton of Raiders fans not from the Las Vegas area that came here. I guess, I don't know if they use it as a vacation or they are just going to kind of make it their thing, but there was a ton of Raiders fans that actually, I guess, live in the Northern California area that made the trip over here. That Raider Nation's pretty strong. A lot of Saints fans as well. But, Las Vegas, as the city is kind of picking back up a little bit, the bars opened up actually this morning. I know a lot of Saints fans had kind of used this as a vacation, and even though they can't come into the stadium, they still use it as a vacation, so you see a lot of black vote as well. So, I mean, the city of Las Vegas is picking back up. You can certainly feel the excitement for the game tonight.
Sean Fazan's with us, Fox 8 in New Orleans. Let's talk about, before we get to the game itself, some of the particulars. We know Michael Thomas is out. What about injury list? Have you gotten the final lineup? Who's in, who's out, who's going to be active, who's not?
That should be tweeted out here any minute. I have not got the list yet. Should be getting it soon here. So we know Michael Thomas is out. Ruiz should be back. P.J. Williams should be back. Chase Hansen is also out. And obviously Marcus Davenport is out. We just don't know the other few names that'll be on that list. I know last week Zach Bond was a healthy scratch. We'll see if he's back tonight. But that should come down any minute, Matt, just as far as the team inactive.
Okay. Do you think do you expect Cesar Ruiz to start tonight?
If he got most of the reps, he got 2 full practices in. He was limited on that first practice day, which was either Wednesday, actually it was Thursday officially. So if he plays, there's a strong chance that he starts because he was starting from day one before he got injured. Now, Nick Easton is a quality reserve that can help you with, as that 6th man, as he's done plenty of times in the first 2 seasons he's been here. But if Ruiz is ready to go, yes, I would expect him to start at right guard.
No Mike Thomas. Who do you anticipate steps up there and takes those targets offensively?
First one is Jared Cook. I think the chemistry between he and Breeze have reached that point where you can really start to see. I mean, for instance, last week, he went to Cook the first 4 third downs. 2 worked, 2 didn't. So I think Jared Cook is number one. Sanders, you'd like him to be that guy. I just don't know from a timing and precision standpoint if they're quite there yet. And I think Sanders was pretty honest this week about where he's at in the system just in terms of knowing everything, the groupings, and the constant changing of personnel. So you'd like it to be Sanders, but it may not be. And of course, Alvin Kamara with the matchup, situation he brings to defenders. So I think Kamara, I think Cook, Sanders possibly. But don't discount Taysom Hill. They use him all over the field. He can obviously be a threat in the passing game as well. So it's going to be a group effort. But, Drew Brees throughout his career has been known for spreading the ball around. So somebody will get a lot of touches, and probably a few players will get quite a few touches tonight.
All right, Sean, the Saints just tweeted out the inactives. I don't know if you've gotten them. Inactives tonight are Will Clapp, Marcus Davenport, Chase Hansen, and DJ Swearinger. What jumps out when you see that? Swearinger.
That must be because of P.J. Williams being back, but Swearinger was on the field a lot last week. They used that dime package a ton last week, which really goes to show just how deep that secondary is right now. But Swearinger jumps out immediately just because they really like him, and he played a lot last week. But that's a sign that P.J. Williams is back and is listed as a safety. So I guess that's officially a position switch for him. So that's certainly something to watch for tonight.
He's on Twitter at Sean Fazand, Fox 8. Give him a follow. Before you go, from your perspective, keys for the Saints tonight, what are you watching?
Yeah, stop Josh Jacobs. I think that's key. I think if you do that, your chances to go up exponentially. Take care of the football, obvious one. And I want to see Alvin Kamara used a little bit in the passing game, not just in that screen check down game, but perhaps back to 2018, when he was running sort of that slot fade. They'd send him on a go route. They'd send him on those wheel routes, those option routes out the backfield. So Kamara line up all over the field as a receiver, and then perhaps take care of the football and stop Josh Jacobs.
He is Sean Fazand, Fox 8 New Orleans, on Twitter at Sean Fazand, Fox 8. Y'all give him a follow. He's there at Allegiant Stadium. Make sure you're following his coverage throughout the game and all season long. Appreciate a couple of minutes, buddy. Thanks so much, man.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Enjoy the game. The first ever there at Allegiant Stadium. Sean Fazand will get to be there. It is a little bit of a bummer that it's going to go down with no fans, and you would certainly love to have a major spectacle, right? And part of it's lost by the fact that you're not going to have fans there for the game tonight. But my feeling generally on this ball game is the Saints are just a better team. They're a better football team than the Raiders are. And I know the Raiders went to Carolina and won last week, but they put 30 points on a team or 34 points on a team that isn't very good. And most concerning is the thing, if you're the Raiders, the thing that Tampa was able to do well was own the line of scrimmage. 11 tackles for loss. They sacked Drew Brees. They pressured him and hit him all day. The Raiders didn't do that at all to Teddy Bridgewater last week. If you weren't able to do it to Teddy Bridgewater, good luck with Drew Brees and this Saints offense. That Raiders secondary you heard Jimmy talk about a bit ago is putrid. I like the Saints defense. So I think the Saints defense is able to hold up. I know Jimmy was saying take the over. I'm not sure that I see the over in this ball game. If it's at 48, I think you're looking at a 27-17 type ball game, probably a little bit lower scoring. The Saints under Sean Payton have done historically very well in primetime games. I know this is on the road. I might feel differently if they could get swallowed in the emotion of opening Allegiant Stadium with fans there. But because there are no fans, I think the Saints defense plays very well tonight. I think that the Saints offense doesn't skip a beat without Mike Thomas. As silly as that may sound, there's just too many weapons there and not enough for the Raiders on defense. So I like the Saints tonight to win comfortably. Give me the Saints 27-17, a 10-point win over the Raiders out in Vegas. They win and they cover. All right, Brain, what did you learn tonight?
I learned the teams with 39 points and no turnovers are 440-1.
They are, in fact. Joe Rod, what did you learn?
Mizzou's going to have a very long week.
How about that, Joe? Not great, but pithy.
I'm learning.
Matt, what'd you learn?
I learned that Scott Gold-Branson and I were at the LSU UNLV game together in 1996.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, we remind you about the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com, 924-2020, 924-2020. As a matter of fact, I was at the Williamson offices today, the new Williamson office right there on the Baton Rouge General Bluebonnet campus. If you're on Bluebonnet, you make a right onto Bacardi. You come up to that stop sign. You make your right. It's right there on the. You make the right at the light. It's right there on the corner. They are the first two floors. Right when you walk in, they got the optical shop on the right. You can take the stairs or the elevators up to the second floor, and they own that whole second floor. State-of-the-art LASIK centers, the state-of-the-art dry eye center. It is gorgeous. If you need that eye exam, if you're considering LASIK, change your life. Make a decision that will truly change your life for the better. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson and the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.